everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us on this wonderful Thursday evening for more D&D online at gaming. And, like every Thursday, it is time for some Song of Rapture, as DM'd by Monsieur Omen. Monsieur Omen, what do you have for us tonight?
Okay, so we're joining back in the game Song of Rapture after an extra week's break. Omen needs time every 10 sessions or so to recharge, deal with personal stuff, and maybe spend a little extra time building ahead of this party that seems to be traversing on this path towards fame, fortune, and overall glory for the town of Oakwell. We last joined our heroes, or left our heroes rather, standing before the gates of a great city after quite an ordeal of travel. But that's really not my story to tell. There were still some adventures to be had back in their hometown. So, could someone please tell me what happened last time on the Song of Rapture?
Yes, I can.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. The newly rebranded Valiant Vanguard were back in Oakwell, and the townspeople were overjoyed because we stopped a horrible infestation that plagued our town. Samantha promised one free round of drinks to everyone that joined the team in celebration at the Fallen Horse that evening. But not all was well. Jody was upset that as soon as we got back, we were planning on departing again, but not for coin. Instead, we wanted to go help Luna with a personal venture to find her parents in a faraway town, Garenswell. The party went their separate ways to give Jody a little bit of space because she wasn't really happy about finding that out, and perhaps to find other options that could bring coin in while we were going to be gone, because the travel to Garenswell could mean we're out for a good 2 months. Gregory gave Marjorie a tour of Oakwell, Persephone tagged along. Luna went straight for the Watchman's Tower and looked at the quest board, thinking maybe we could find something along the way, because we were going to take the main roads. Quill also went to the Watchman's Tower, but to update Bea on the Ides of Elm, that they were needed in Thistle for now, but as soon as the Shay can spare them, she will. He also visited Clyde, a former member of the Valiant Vanguard, to get some insight on this group that he was with now, and to ask why it is we talked into our hands. Samantha spoke to Mayor Autumnwood to collect payment for ridding Oakwell of the plague, and to inquire about starting an adventuring guild. They chatted for a bit, and she had some ideas to work with, but before she left, Mayor Autumnwood gave her a letter from Moston, one that she had been waiting for, regarding Eric Gellner, a skilled physician from Garenswell. Javen was the only one of us who stayed behind and started to speak with Jody. And Jody asked 2 things of him. That if we were traveling while we were in Crossway, we need to go through quickly and keep out of trouble. Most importantly, keep Gregory out of trouble. And to find his old associate, Rat, and find a way for him to connect with Jody, so that Jody could have leads again. Evening came and the Fallen Horse was busy with the promised celebration. The members of the Valiant Vanguard took up various roles in this. Gregory was cooking, Samantha entertained, but some of us just wanted to relax and catch up with old friends. And as the evening went on, Samantha used her magic to make a show of our recent victory, saving the cursed Marjorie and slaying Ashen Lynn. The inn erupted with applause and cheers for their local hero, Gregory Timberson, who gave the final blow. And after the crowd started to dissipate and the evening went on, we gathered around for a frank discussion with Jody about what was to happen the next morning. Jody, now having some time to think more on the matter, told us she had a plan for growing the Fallen Horse. So she had some options for us. She wanted us to get a lead while we were out of Oakwell, so that when we returned, we'd guarantee a job. That's when Luna showed a wanted poster looking for information on one of the vandals from Argos Day. We assumed that he may have been part of the Gilded Coffers, which are all over Crossway. So while there, we could get some information on him. And with the plan in place, we all went to bed, except Samantha, who spent the entire night making her own arrangements, including getting her 2 goblins, Marrowtooth and Timbermoth, ready for the long journey. The next morning, we all made our final preparations before leaving Oakwell and traveling to the east. We rested in various hamlets and villages that were along the road, and after 8 days of travel, we finally came to our big stop, Crossway. We haven't entered the big city yet, but we're hoping we can find the information we need, stay out of trouble, and go on our way. So join us tonight as we write our next chapter in Song of Rapture.
Nicely done. Give yourself some DM inspiration.
Great job, Mel. You did it.
Mm-hmm.
You did it!
As indeed, the travel along this stretch of Mobia was not intrepid, but just probably the longest the party has ever gone in a single stretch, having moved from their small town of Oakwell through the village of High Hill and a couple of hamlets, Donshaw, one owned by human farmers who sort of use it as a retirement home for all weary field hands, as well as Glad Lodge, a small little hovel in the hills where halflings happily dance and just merrily celebrate every day. But along the way, there were a couple things that some of you did, some of you accomplished along these 8 days of travel. Does anyone want to talk about them to make sure they're brought to light?
Yes. At Glad Lodge, Samantha acquired a bit of visual camouflage for her goblins and sent them on their way south, west, on a bit of a espionage mission of sorts, to gather information and to keep track of the Black Furies in the region that we'd labeled the Black Mantle. Things with the goblins and the hobgoblins seem to have not truly come to an end, and, well, we don't literally want something to happen behind our backs as we press further east. So, Samantha sent Timbermaw and Marrowtooth to gather that information, and then to meet back up with her halfway between Glad Lodge and Oakwell.
Okay. Anyone else did anything on their travel, or are we ready to move on?
I did some gardening while I was traveling. I have these dewdrop pots that are still a little bit experimental, so I tended to my little travel garden and took some notes because I'm a tester for these things, and I want to do Amber proud.
Alrighty. And with
I
Samantha
tried to remember the thing that the kids reminded me of that made me a terrible parent, guardian. Were you hinting at Nina's birthday that I don't have my sheet anywhere? Did you just make it up? Or was there something else that Gregory is forgetting?
No. As far as seems the kids try to remind you, maybe all the distractions of your adventures, the things you've had to tackle and face, it's becoming evident that, yeah, as different as the world has seemed now that you're traveling with the Valiant Seven and facing great evils, actually doing good in the world, there's still something very important to you. Little Nina, coming up in the next couple of months. Soon to arrive is her birthday, a young girl with a remarkable imagination and an infinite amount of love to give. Give you something to think about, perhaps while on this journey. Anything that might suit her, as she's probably turning about 9 now.
But when is her birthday?
You want a date?
Yes.
Sure. Her birthday is November 7th.
Gotcha. And what's the current date?
Current day, do.
I got 19th, but I don't know what month that is.
It is Tuesday, September 30th. All right.
Also,
And with that-
I decided
Back in
that,
time for that.
I also just magically know that, so that's
Of
that's just a thing that's
course,
gonna
people who would
occur.
know Nina's birthday would know her birthday, but we do find that the Valiant Seven stands before this massive city, similar to one they've been to before, but not quite in the same vein. They've risen high into the mountains and found at least one of the districts, the large citadels that forms Broken Ridge. And they know that scattered throughout this entire mountain range are the other citadels that form the other parts of Broken Ridge. But here in Crossway, that's not the case. This massive city is all contained in a great 150-foot tall wall, sort of surrounding a hill of sorts, like this great mound. And full this city is. Even walking up to its gates from far away, you can see the tops of many different colored roofs, almost seemingly perfectly divided into these great sections, their own districts. And there seem to be so many buildings stuffing this place that some of them are situated along the wall itself with windows and hopefully not doors that would open up to the Great Fall beyond. Crossway is the example of what happens when a city grows farther in its expansive population and commerce than its walls can reach. As you guys find yourself standing before the great city of Crossway, the place where all roads lead. You're making your way mostly close to the door. It even seems like you guys are maybe about a few thousand feet out from it, but traffic is actually somewhat steady. A bit different from Oakwell, although Oakwell is certainly growing its own population. Along the way, you see along these roaming hills, small households that looks like farmsteads. You see wagons prepared, filled with barley and hay. Seems like it's possibly part of the agriculture that supplies this great city, but God, there would need to be a lot more farms to feed so many people. You guys are entering in from the western side, and the tops of these buildings you see they're almost like an emerald green color as you look out beyond them. And as they seem to rise up this ever-rising slope behind the wall, you see behind them this great citadel of buildings, all of them with bright red roofs. The buildings on top seem to be much more luxurious, much more grandeur than the ones you see before you. You guys who have been here, or at least have heard of Crossway, would know by entering in the west gate, you're entering into one of the 5 districts of Crossway, the Esmerelle district. It is known as being somewhat of a hot pot, a mixing pot of different cultures, mostly Mobian as well as Illyrian. Because the city of Crossway is unlike any other in Movia, in the sense that while it belongs to this country, it truly doesn't fall under the jurisdiction of Skyreach. After wars and conflict between the nations, Crossway sort of became this middle point between all of the nations. This place where Illyrians and Mobians and Dracovans and even now the Tyrians can come together and trade peacefully. In a sense, it's almost its own city-state, ruled under its own jurisdiction, although kept under a somewhat close eye by the Mobian government. But those who have been here would know that such a state does sort of breed a sense of, not distrust, but I guess a breeding ground of possible villainy. This place rules itself, and thus, whoever's in charge has full control. To an extent. So what do you guys do?
So we always trying to stay here for like a couple, if not just a day, right?
We passing through, but we supposed to be trying to find that filler?
Or some information at least.
I mean, to be honest, I don't even really know where to look. I've been here a long while ago, and I was in and out.
I thought Javen knew where it was. Where is Javen?
Hang
on. Did we lose him?
I take out the wanted poster,
Sure.
and I'm going to kind of rip like the picture out of it, so that instead of having the picture and the wanted part, it's just the picture.
So you just rip the top and bottom of the poster basically off of it?
Basically.
So you basically just have somewhat torn but still very visual, just looks like an illustration of a large muscular figure.
I thought we had planned to just rest here for a day or so and just push on past, and we'd do a bit more digging on the way back.
There's a plan, sir.
Okay, so we do some today. Think about what we got, and then maybe a little more when we come back if we don't have anything.
What time is it?
You guys arrived here about midday.
So I guess we should go in and just find an inn and probably talk to the inn. They get gossip all the time.
Yeah, I could lead you to one, but been years since I've stayed there, and it ain't exactly the finest joint. If If y'all want something glassy, we might want to ask around.
I can figure out. But, what section are we arriving?
You're heading towards the western side in the Esmeralda district. It is this place, you've been here several times. It's mostly where people from the Mobian side of the world come to visit. It's this section of green roof buildings, mostly trading in goods regarding, what was it? Here we are. Yeah, mostly things like agriculture. It seems like in here you know that following the ways of Illyrians, they like to have plants and all sorts of different green life growing within their walls. So they sort of harvest goods, things for feeding the rest of the city. They're also dealing with animals, you know, applying a little animal husbandry with horses and all sorts of other creatures that roam these lands, as well as art. You know that this place is probably the most approachable and common of the districts. You even know that inside there is a great church dedicated to the goddess Sune, known as the Sundrop Citadel.
Shouldn't be too hard fun there. Hell, it might even be worth to just pick the first one we see. Well, travel comes, yeah?
Alright. I mean, remind me though, there was the fella that was in Oakwell a bit ago knocking down doors and thing, but wasn't there somebody else that we were supposed to be looking for? I know we ain't gonna do it now, maybe not, but was there another fella?
Yeah, he was, what was he got, like a tiefling?
I thought
I feel like he was like
Tiefling
short and
was
fat.
with him.
Yep. If you're thinking about the buddy who was with this large man, you do recall he presented himself more than this thing did. When you saw this big, burly assailant, he was wearing something of a dark cloak, hiding most of his features. The only thing you got from him that really stuck out besides his size was these low and sort of grumbling words that barely seemed coherent. But that was fine because the partner he had with him, a red-skinned and large horned tiefling, seemed to do all the talking for him. He was pretty well dressed, wearing looks like a suit of possibly just fine robes. Looked like almost not noble-like, but someone who knew where to buy some good clothes and how to style.
I'm not talking about. I thought there was someone a little bit more sympathetic to a cause here. Am I just remembering?
We're looking for Jody's associate, someone that she gets information from, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
What was her name? David, did she tell you?
Did Jody tell us?
Checking notes.
Oh,
Maybe
what's her
making
name?
shit up.
As we summon thought collective agents.
Brendan may very well just be fucking mixing shit up and remembering something that never happened.
So based on my notes, what Jody told us was about finding leads, like jobs, but she only told Javen about the contact.
I say none of what I just said.
Never mind.
You metagaming stuff.
Well, I don't remember shit. That was like 7 weeks ago.
But yeah, Javen, you would recall that she tasked you with something very important, considering that all of her leads, all of her connections, and Crossway had been somewhat hindered, considering the Gilded Coffer's now interest in pursuit of her. She wants to find a way to get in direct contact with Gib, your small, dark-skinned, gnomish friend who seems to always know what's going on in the city of Crossway.
Well, should we find an inn?
As we reckon, don't exactly want to sleep out on the street.
You said it was like the afternoon, Omen?
Yep, mid-afternoon.
How long does it take to get through this city, Gregory?
I mean,
You would know.
There's a lot of
that
people.
It's a big city. It is a wide city. It's basically, again, it's overfilled. The really easiest way to get through here, especially on horses, is through these thoroughfares that sort of reside between these tightly packed streets. If you're just thinking of going from one side to the other, it's going to take at least a day if you're on horses. On feet, it takes about just as long. You can probably find some quick alleyways to go through, but unfortunately, not a whole lot of space exists in this city. A lot of its leveling goes up as opposed to out.
We'd be best to find somewhere close to the wall, because it's honestly traveling outside the city and around it's quicker than going through the dam.
Telling you. Find the person.
Right.
It'll be the most populous. Probably. Nothing.
Well,
Convenient. Quick. Plenty of other.
I can start heading to where I stayed a couple of years back. There might be some other inns around if we don't... I mean, it was a bit of a rat hole. I wasn't exactly, spending it up.
Hope I don't feel like sleeping in a rat hole. I could walk away and go find an end myself.
Oh, I think I've scared Luna off.
are we just all going in our own?
Luna, wait. Are we gonna meet up here in the morning or something?
I mean, you could follow me if you want to, but I'm moving this way.
Oh. Alright.
Well, how are we gonna stay in contact?
I think we just following Luna.
I think we need to find an inn. That will be the rally point. The next day we go to a farther inn, and that will be the rally point.
I'm gonna literally grab a random person as I'm walking.
Yep. As you enter through the gates, the guards seem to let you in pretty without really any stopping you. Maybe you're so used to Oakwell having the guards check everything you have on you before you enter. These ones don't seem to, and I guess some of the new people have never been here. A bit different about these guards, something not quite you'd expect on others. Their armor seems relatively plain, looks like leathers that seem to have these plates of steel upon it. But they don't really look like your typical guards. They're not holding shields and spears and standing at attention. Most of their arms are crossed. They're sort of just watching people as they come in. You notice that rather than carrying like any sort of sense of authority to them, they just kind of look menacing. You see on their sides they have an assortment of weapons. You see pairs of swords. Some of them have battle axes, and it becomes apparent the military of this place isn't really much of a militia. It's more like a band of sellswords.
They get paid
And they're all
protection
guns.
money.
Certainly. But yeah, they keep their arms crossed. They watch as you enter. You guys are only walking in on horses. Some of you have some baubles hanging from the sides of them, glass jars filled with plants, but they don't seem too suspicious. They just sort of like nod your way and allow you entry to the gates. And yeah, once you enter, there's just the hustle and bustle of a living city, very similar to Oakwell in its recent days, as you find these like sort of what should be wide streets now filled with tightly packed buildings and carts and stands where people are trying to sell all sorts of things, foods, grains, plants, and you can look up, you can see stairwells leading up to the side and these harsh diagonals leading up to other levels where you can see people are trading things like, goods they grow, looks like things like plants and looks like things made out of like wood, like carvings and the like, and you can see other places where you can hear the neighing of horses and the growling of animals, where it looks like some small farmsteads have been sort of nestled in. As it's gonna take a little bit of time, but fortunately, you are being led by someone who, regardless of never having been to this place, actually has a bit of expertise in these things. Luna, you were born in a city as a girl who really had only herself for quite some time. She, in doing so, something to live on your own and find the little nooks and crannies to crawl through, you actually can lead your party a bit faster through this city, as you are an urchin. And little urchins get to move through cities twice as fast.
Ah, yeah, city secret.
Heck yeah, baby.
Actually being used. What a fucking miracle.
Mhm.
Hint the message in Discord earlier today.
As you make your way up along you're looking around, Luna, for something that seems decent. You do see one inn, they call it the Green Purse, and maybe the name alone seems kind of nice. You think of a purse, maybe felt some softness to it, but then the door opens up and immediately you're hit with this waft of just animal. That sort of like musty hay scent, and Oh god, this is where so many of these farmers and animal handlers probably sleep while they're here. Okay, not that one. Make your way a little further, go up to the 3rd level. It looks like there's at least 5 levels on each of these districts. Until then, you do find something that looks a bit quaint, a little nice compared to the inn you currently stay in. It has that sort of homely charm, but there is something somewhat grandeur about it. You see a sign with a small silver bundling. It looks like sticks and hay nestled into a small bun, and on top of that rests a small, beautiful-looking bird, as you find a relatively nice-looking inn known as the Sparrow's Nest.
Well, I guess this will have to do. It's better than nothing.
Keep going.
Yes. What?
Yeah, it'll work.
Standing next to you as we're looking at the side, and you just hear me whisper, "No, keep going."
Don't do it.
Oh, is it the bird?
It's a sparrow, not a raven.
I mean, if you want to sleep in a nest, that's fine, I guess.
I mean, at least it looks better than the fallen horse.
Ooh, don't let Jody hear you
Wait,
say
Samantha, are you afraid of birds?
that. No, Krill, mind your business.
Say, look at Persephone.
Persephone's not going to give him any indication that he is correct or not. But she does smile.
Alright, let's go. As I go inside and find wherever, I guess, the barkeep is.
Sure. You open the door, you walk in. It's kind of a nice looking inn inside. It looks like similar to the way that some of Thistle's buildings are. It looks like should be trees growing up in this place to support it, but maybe just an aesthetic choice with these large pillars of sorts of wood. You can see like a barky exterior, and from them growing these branches that seem to bloom out into flowers. Where it looks like inside this actual inn, you can hear the soft tweeting and chirping of birds actually sort of fluttering between these branches here and there. They're very small, just small songbirds. And yeah, at the back you see a number of people hanging out, just enjoying themselves a drink. It's less of a rough and tumble looking bar that you're used to finding in Oakwell, and more of a sort of quiet, peaceful one. And at the bar you do see a young man with long blonde hair tied down. It seems to go far down, a long ponytail to the middle of his back, as he seems to be tending to one of these birds that's resting on his finger. He has soft pointed ears. Looks like he's probably half elf. He noticed you, and he's willing to talk to you, see if you come his way.
Excuse me. Hi. Is there a bell? I tap on the desk.
You tap on the desk, and you actually feel something softly sort of chip as you tap on a bird. Bird flies away. Oh, a customer. Welcome, as he ushers the small bird off his finger and flies away. How can I help you?
There are not birds all throughout this place, is there?
Of course. It's a place where humanity and nature come together as one,
What
bringing
did I
peaceful sleep.
fucking tell you, Luna? It literally says the
Don't be rude.
Sparrow's
This
Nest.
is nice. This is nice. I really like this place. This
Of
place is
course
really
you
nice.
like this place. Look at you.
What about the rooms? Are the rooms devoid of birds?
The rooms do have their privacy, yes.
Alright, we need a room for a day? A day?
Just for the night.
That should be it.
Certainly.
One for each of us. How much?
Let's see there. How many of you? 6? There's only 5 silver pieces for a single night.
I look at Gregory.
Wait, am I paying for everybody?
I mean, since they're so nice to offer.
Persephone's already digging in for her coins. What?
Jody didn't give me any coin for no. That's what you're asking
Goodness.
for.
Here, I just put 10 silver pieces on the countertop. That takes care of myself and Lumberfoot over there.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I put down my silver pieces for
You
myself.
just call me a dwarf?
I'll put down 1 gold piece. I'll pick up Luna.
No, that would be Stonefoot, Timberson.
Lumberfoots.
Lumberfoot. That's just anyone that's not an elf, actually. So.
Subin, everyone's paying for their stuff. Only, basically 5 silver per person. Decent rate. Takes your gold, or takes your coins, your collection of gold and silver, it seems, and yeah. gives you all small keys to your room. They all seem to be pinned on the back of them with a small plume of a bird feather, different colors for each different room, and ushers you off. You want something to drink, something to eat, he will happily serve you, although some things are only covered by the payment you spent for your room. Others, if you want something a bit more exquisite, something a bit more unique to the inn, you'd have to order it special, might cost more. But otherwise, you guys are free to carouse the inn as you wish, to go and stay as you please, as long as you mind the birds themselves. No causing much harm to them. People get a little rough with these animals.
Fireball them.
They don't
No.
have wings here. How unfortunate.
I'm gonna ask the innkeeper, like, where's the Elven district and how far is it? What's the quickest?
You're actually right next to the Elven district. The farther you go up the wall, you actually get closer. It's a place you maybe have heard of once, Quill, because here in this area, which is supposed to be this melting pot, it's always described as a combination of both Mobian and Illyrian cultures. It's mostly Mobian that sort of absorbed the Illyrian culture, and the elves are somewhat kind of segregated to a little enclave, this little district in the corner where it's mostly just like the purest sort of piece of Illyria you could have. Sort of, it's in a layman's term, I suppose. It's basically like Elven Chinatown.
Elven Town.
Elven Town.
Wonderful. Persephone,
Yes.
I don't want to assume, but I don't know about you. It's been a long time since I've been in the Elven lands, and I'm planning to go and visit that district. Is there anything that you would like me to pick up? Perhaps to remind you of home?
Actually, I think I would like to accompany you.
Wonderful.
All right.
Barkeep or whatever your name is. What can you tell me about the Gilded Coffers?
First of all, the name is Avon. Second of all, the Gilded Coffers are a very kind and considerate group of mercenaries and dealers. They help keep these districts alive.
Seemed like she just asked. So what do you know about the Yakuza? Did it just ring as like literally just that sort of reaction? What do you know about MS-13? Huh? Are they great for the neighborhood?
He definitely seemed to be caught off guard by the directness of the question. Sort of like he was about to reach out and tend to a bird, and his fingers immediately curled back to his chest, and he sort of had to stutter for a moment. But then he his demeanor quickly came back, if not staggered.
So definitely a
He
fear
definitely seemed like he
reaction.
was caught off guard. Oh yeah, definitely a visual, not easy to hide reaction, as you just directly mentioned the Gilded Coffers. And as you do that also, Luna, you do sort of hear like a shuffle in the back of the room as some people like...
Can I look around the room and see if anyone's like tilting their ear in?
Give me a perception check. Oh yeah. As you do hear her speak that word, you also sort of freeze up for a moment, Quill, and instinct goes, okay, this might be time to play a little sentry. And your eyes look around, your ears are sort of perking up. You do hear like some of them sort of shuffle uncomfortably. You do see people sort of turn their heads to look your way. They seem like they're trying to listen on what's going on, but hard to say for what reason why. They seem like some normal folk. You see like young women and like an older male. Looks like an old farmer man who seems to come in here holding a bird in his hand, but he's just sort of looking more concerned, I guess, than curious.
I see. So that's how you situation. Samantha. Turn to Samantha and Persephone's leaving with Quill. Oh my god, Samantha, we should go shopping! And as I grab her and just leave the room.
What? And she just gets swept along with you.
Hey, where are they going?
I believe.
Shopping.
Shopping.
Damn.
Oh, all right. Hey, fella, you sell this? Point to one of the bird cages.
His name is Avon.
Avon, yes, thank you. Well, yes, if you're willing to make a purchase, are you wanting the cage? Just the cage by itself?
But no, I meant the birds.
Oh!
Bird with a fallen horse?
Yeah, yes, certainly. If you're willing to pay coin, I will say, number of these lovely little friends come over from the land of the elves themselves, so they are hard to come by. I hope the coin will not scare you away.
How much we talking?
Well, it depends. This small fellow here is a resplendent glory. Beautiful little thing. Has this tiny, looks like a little canary resting on his finger, sort of yellow, and it's almost like as the feathers turn from yellow to red as it gets to the tail. You see him sort of run up a finger behind its head and sort of scritch behind it, and as he does, you see every time his finger sort of runs along its downy feathers, it's almost like the color shifts, and like when it pulls up along the feathers, there's like this sort of, almost like a metallic rainbow color, as if the underside of this thing had some strange sheen, then pets it back down, and it seems to smooth back out and looks like a canary. They like to hide their beauty, although not in their song. This little friend here, quite young, he would live as long as at least 10 to 20 more years, but I could not part from for any less than 75 gold pieces.
Oh, alright.
How about you?
Hell.
Do you have one that
I'm just thinking, I don't know, maybe, I mean, it's getting old to be named his birthday, and I don't even know if I'm gonna be back in time for it, but I was thinking of
If
pet.
we put the money down now, can we pick up the bird on our way back? We're traveling.
Now, hold on, I don't even know, I don't really even think she likes.
Stop. It's his first stop, Persephone.
If you do wish to hold interest in this small fellow, I would not be advised to holding on to your gold. I assure you it will stay exactly where it is if you are planning on stepping out of the city for some time. But if someone does come in with similar interests, I will have to approach the certain one, if you understand.
I mean, are they easy to take care of, or are they gonna kick the bucket if someone ain't watching?
As long as you are not keeping them in a mere cage and give them the room to fly. As you see him let him go and see him flying around this relatively large room, sort of stopping between these branches, which, yeah, you're looking at, Greg. This room is basically like someone's tried to build a forest in here, and
It really got the biggest place. I'll keep it in mind, though. Thank you. Yeah, Purse, don't worry about it. I'm just so amusing. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do.
Okay. Persephone's just kind of mesmerized watching this bird.
Should we go, Persephone?
Oh, yes, we should go.
Yeah, if y'all want to go shopping, I'm like Jody said, I'm gonna hang out here. I bet I don't go poking my nose in anything. Just be safe, alright? Don't go too far. You get lost in this place real.
Well, good thing I know how to speak to the people around here.
Getting lost in a city is half the fun about being in a city.
Oh dear.
I always thought protecting the city was the fun part of being in a city.
As long as you can get back, just go enjoy yourself. Don't. First, there's a whole lot of people here with a whole lot of interesting way of dealing with folk. Not all of them gonna take too kindly to anyone, especially someone who likes to talk.
She can protect herself.
That's what I'm worried about a little bit. I mean, Quill, you watch out for, right? I mean, first fine, just you know what I'm saying.
I appreciate your concern, Gregory. We'll be fine.
She'll be watching.
Yeah, they'll be fine. I hope.
Well, I'll pull down the phone.
So I walk out.
okay. So Quill and Persephone leave somewhat after Luna and Samantha are pulled away to shop. Gregory staying put. What are you up to, Javen?
What time of day is it? Mid-afternoon?
Basically, by the time you get to this inn, it's about 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, but Javen's on business. Watch. For now.
It's only 2 drinks. Got it.
Yes, whatever that means. And Shaven, well... Alright, Gregory. Be safe.
Yeah, I'll just be here in my room. I'm gonna try to think of what the hell to get in.
I'm sure you'll think of something.
Yeah. I'll see y'all tonight, I suppose.
Dude.
Shaven will also take his leave.
Okay. Where you going, Javen?
Oh, as I said, Javen's on his sort of official business mode. He's on the prowl. With his nose in the air and his eyes sharp. He found Rat the first time, and Rat was in fairly dire circumstances. So Javen's a bit more hard pressed to find Rat again. And he'll try, like he did the last time, hopping on rooftops. Blitzing his way, skipping all the roads, and knowing not many people would question it. Or rather, not many people have the will nor gumption to try and stop him.
Oh yeah. Just like before, in these thick and highly packed streets, although Luna had the ways and to figure out how to help lead you guys through these large, dense places, you sort of circumvent all of that by yourself. A horse beneath your feet, you're able to climb up these buildings with some very good grace. And sort of, well, everyone's eyes are sort of kept on the ground on the people selling objects and all sorts of valuables between each other. You sort of hop and skip your way around the city, looking around for any signs of your good buddy. As we're going to break up a little bit, it seems like the party is scattering up. Luna and Samantha, the first out the door and the quickest to get where they want, thanks to Luna leading Samantha along the way. What are you guys looking for?
Oh, just so you realize, Samantha, we're not actually going shopping. But I'm pretty sure, based on
To
the
the
reaction,
brothels.
I'm pretty sure I saw it too. Asking about GC and place with any sort of repute would be nowhere, basically.
If
That
anything,
would
it brings
make sense.
unwanted attention.
You would want to ask people of ill repute, perhaps to actually get real information, and of course you wouldn't want to do so, well, as yourself. Though Nina's birthday is coming up, we could do some shopping. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, Nina's birthday is coming up?
It's in a few weeks, if my memory serves me correctly. I want to say
like 12.
5 or 6.
Like 8 weeks? What, the end of September? Is that what you said, or the beginning of September?
November. You're at the end of September, September
Yeah, the
30th.
end of
Yeah, and it's
We got
November
a
7th.
month and a week. 5 weeks.
November 7th, I want to say. But were you thinking of trying to slip into a place not dingy, a bit more rough and tumble, and try to get to Mansus?
Yeah, I've been here for about a month when I left here as well, so I have relative information about where to get bad
Ooh.
information.
You certainly would. It's actually probably why you're so good at navigating this city. You've been to these areas before. Unfortunately, this is probably the easiest one to navigate. You would know enough about Crossway to sort of give a visual and understanding of these different districts. You're in the western district of Esmerel. To the north is the northern district with a road that leads to the far edge of Drakova and even up to Broken Ridge, known as the Ivorford district. It's all about forging, creation, even some basic forms of architecture. They say that a lot of the walls and construction around this city is all thanks to the Ivorford and their dwarven ways. You know that to the east is the Nocturne district, this place with dark black roofs that connect to Tyrion and the eastern coast of Mobia. You know that of all the places you could probably visit, Nocturne would probably be the best to find someone for some maybe shady, darker dealings, because out of all the districts, it's the one that really deals with, well, the likes of mercenaries, sellswords, and everything of the like. The people who helped supply the elves during this little civil war thing they had. And of course, if you want to look a little deeper, there's the south side. You didn't spend too much time there, the Azura district, where the roofs are this bright blue color, and they all specialize in things like jewelry, research across the world, and even some medicine. Although it's certainly because their road leads down south through the mountains into the White Sea. You've heard that there's been some sort of conspiracy or thought, like when your younger days, that there's always a sense of unease when people are there because among their people, they say, the Yuan-Ti like to wander. But if you're looking just for something simple, like just dirty, dark, down people who are ready to rough and tumble and might know what's going on with the Guild of Coffers, you probably think the Nocturne District would be the best. Yeah, biker bar. Everyone riding up on their horses.
Yeah, they're
probably in the Nocturne
out
District.
there revving their horses in the street.
As you probably know, it's the Eastern District, and you're in the Western District.
We'll help there for now, or today at least, and then I'll explore other options when we come back.
Makes sense. Are we going as ourselves?
I believe you're the only one that knows how to disguise yourself. Yep.
Oh yes, you did have to go about that the hard way, didn't you? She just kind of like looks at your hair and kind of like looks up, like kind of peers at your roots to see if the color is coming back in yet. All right.
Magic.
Well, lead the way, Luna.
Look at a girl's roots like that.
Rude!
Girls do, they just look straight at each other's
them
roots.
out. I just looked at them.
You just slick back their bangs and go, yep, still same color.
I'm trying to see Mel's roots right now.
Okay.
Just look at her go,
Okay, so as you guys are moving on to the east, it seems like you guys are not doing some shopping. Instead, you're going to do some traveling, trying to find the people suitable to give you answers. It'll take you guys some time, because again, it's a big city to travel, and you guys are basically going around to the other side. It's going to take maybe a few hours to actually get there. But fortunately, Luna helps you travel there quicker. So it won't take you half a day.
We just shoot the shit on the way there.
Absolutely. As still in this district, still just doing some looking around, Quill and Persephone, are you looking for the Elven town?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure. Yep. You guys just sort of follow the path. It actually becomes obvious as you're walking. These green roofed buildings sort of packed together begin to give way between them. You can see more green on the ground between the stones until finally you're not walking on sidewalks and cobblestones lined with plant life. You're basically walking on soft earth that seems to have been padded here as if specifically for growing, almost like a garden of sorts. And then you see trees blooming up, and in between them, you see these very beautiful round-shaped buildings, almost like onions of sorts, these bulbs that grow out of the ground, and these sharp points. Very distinctive of old elven architecture. It feels like if you were to turn around, you'd see the world of Mobia, and then turn back around to see this district. It's almost like you're in Illyria again.
Oh my God.
You see walking between them, chattering on their own, soft, quiet, long-winded conversations, long-eared creatures with various colors of hair, skin, and even some of them kind of strange-looking. They're elves. Many of them half, but others full-blooded. You see some of them with long, silvery hair and sort of soft, pale, almost purplish skin. Others just beaming like the sun itself, golden in every aspect. Some of them seem to almost blend into their surroundings, and even a couple of them look kind of odd. Only probably you would have met these kind of people, Quill, in your time in the war against Illyria, when the Tyrians, all sorts of different elves, banded together against the originals. These elves with soft blue skin, sort of matted, greased hair, and ears that were strangely shaped, almost like socketed and thinned, as they are elves of the coast. Aquatic elves.
Are they close to me?
Yeah, they're just scattered here. You only find a couple, but yeah, like you're walking down, you kind of stop and catch one's eye, and yeah. I haven't seen one of them since the war.
The Samahine. Say hello,
Samahine.
Gnomish.
As they greet you back with a soft little bow, you can see it's been a while since you've seen a full-blooded elf besides Ava. Their eyes almost like completely filled with a color. They smile your way and nod.
Would I know, is there a saying for coastal elves?
No, they sort of follow this.
I feel like there'd be something like
Hey, brah.
guides always raise you or something.
Nope, they actually sort of follow the same culture, the customs as other elves do. It seems like they're a descendant of like high elves that sort of adapted to the coast over thousands and thousands of years. They sort of adopt the same culture, although you do notice they have a few other different mannerisms. Their hands don't quite go together well because they have fins between them, so they sort of offset their palms. Their voices sometimes sound a bit garbled. They have to constantly clear their throat if they're not near water or not keeping themselves parched. But otherwise, they're just like you.
This is wonderful. Persephone.
Persephone's just like watching aquatic elves go by. Huh?
Remind me again. Who's Nina?
Oh, Nina is Gregory's little sister.
Oh, right. Wait, was she the one in the inn?
She was there.
Yeah, like the little girl that was running around?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other children?
Yeah, the two boys that walked in with her, that's her brothers. Gregory's the oldest. He kind of takes care of them.
Oh, no. Where are their mothers or father?
That's a good question. I don't really ask. I think it's a really touchy subject.
Sometimes lineage can be.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Persephone, have you ever had sapodilla fruit?
That sounds like something you would only get on, like, the coast. But I live more inland. Oh,
you must try some. It is a wonderful fruit. A true taste of my home. I've missed it for some 100 years or so. I wonder if they have it here. I hope they do. So I'm gonna go look for some sapodilla fruit.
Yes, I'm gonna tag along with him. This sounds like fun.
Just glancing around, looking around this place for this fruit that you remember growing back around your homeland, closer to the coast, where the humidity is great enough to support these very sweet and somewhat alien-looking fruit. You don't really find any here. You do notice that the elves have taken home here, at least even the coastal ones, but most of the trees and plant life you actually see growing here sort of belong to Illyria. These sort of thin trees that produce all sorts of flowering plants and the like, but nothing that really follows the way of Tyrion. If you're just looking
around, I'm gonna ask around for it.
Sure, you talk to a couple of them. I mean, after giving them a kind greeting, they're pretty responsive to you. They say they would sell some in stores. They know that they've shipped some between here and over in Tyrion, because Tyrion, while they have the means to grow them in the Nocturne district, they don't really specialize in such things, so they send their wares over here. They actually pull out these small fruits where you see it's like this teardrop-shaped golden fruit, almost translucent, as if this thing were made of glass. But on the tip of it, where the point would be, is this small flowering hold where it looks like the flowering plant would have grown, and then this long thin vine, as if these trees would grow vines that reduce these giant, beautiful-looking golden teardrop-shaped fruit. You'd sort of pluck it off, and he'd offer to sell a few of them to you for about 10 gold a pop.
I'm gonna look over at Persephone. Do you think you could grow this? You are gifted in herbalism, are you not?
I can most certainly try.
I will buy one.
Sure. And it is beautiful fruit. It's about 10 inches tall, round and bulbous. You hold it in your hands, and almost, if it wasn't for this like thick wall around the fruit itself, it would almost jiggle in your hands if it were like just liquid. But inside, you do see sort of floating around these soft little dots, look like tiny little seeds, sort of nestled inside of this pool of liquid. But yeah, you get yourself a beautiful forward fruit.
I have missed this type of place. Is there anything that you miss from back home, Persephone?
Mostly my family. My brother and I really wanted to travel when we were younger, but Father was very strict, so we weren't really allowed outside of the city without his supervision, and he was very busy, so that didn't really happen a lot. Seeing cities like this is kind of nice and refreshing. It does remind me a little of home, but I mostly miss spending time with my brother and mother and even my father at times. But going back would mean, well, it wouldn't be like being with the Valiant Vanguard, that's for sure.
Yeah. What sorts of things did you do back home? Did you sing songs or dance or play games? Take in a show?
No, I mostly avoided the lessons that my father paid for, personal tutors, and I ran around in the forest. But before that, my brother and I, oh my goodness. So the war is still a really touchy subject in Illyria, especially in Inolin. Just the former High Lady was, it's not a big deal. But my brother was able to get a map that actually had Tyrion recognized on it as its own independent nation. And we were really excited about it, and we made plans that we were going to travel all across Hearth and make it all the way through Mobia and get to see Tyrion and see what Tyrion was like as its own, and then Father said no, so that kind of put an end to that.
Well, if you would like, at some point, I hope to make it back to Zamaria. You're more than welcome to come and see my city. My friends, my family. Experience life as a Tyrion for a little while, perhaps.
That sounds amazing. I would love to.
Perhaps you should buy your brother a keepsake from here. Let him know that you got to travel to such an amazing place.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. I've been sending him letters about everywhere that I've been, but I haven't been to Crossway yet. This is going to be unbelievable. He's not going to really understand it. I don't even know. I'm going to have to write so many letters about this place.
Well, just take it all in right now. Don't worry about writing letters. Taste like this is far too rare. Just gonna walk around and enjoy the area, talking, doing what elf things do, maybe getting a cup of tea, sitting in the cafe, just enjoying.
We're so classy!
Enjoying the elven life.
Enjoying the culture.
Yeah.
A lot of conversation.
I can recognize anyone from Tyrion, or if anyone has any kind of sigil or anything that I'd recognize, I might try to strike up a conversation with them.
Most of them just seem to be travelers, either from Illyria or some of them just live here. They just sort of made this corner their home. A lot of traders who have taken their wares and sort of settled here to make some profit off it. You can probably make a lot more from Illyrian wares out here in Crossway than you probably could trying to sell them back in your own home country. Mostly just enjoying some peaceful time, soft, quiet conversations that seem to go on for hours, as is the tradition of elves. They're quite long-lived creatures, and thus their conversations have no need for brevity or swiftness. They can just sort of carry on for long periods of time. But you guys enjoy yourselves in the small elven town, this little plaza on the corner of the Esmeralda district, as we cut to Javen. Hopping between rooftops, easily making your way across the districts with your acrobatic checks, rolling around, hopping from one roof to the other until you find the great wall that divides them. You do get some eyes from, again, some of the sellsword guards here and there, but again, they only put their hands on their hilts to watch you. They see you just sort of just street ratting around, and they don't really seem to abate you. You make it across the southern district of Azura, where these bright blue roofs sort of pad the area, and they're actually a lot more level than over here in Esmeralda, because here in really the only standout structure in the Azura district is this massive mausoleum of sorts that you would know as being a museum for all sorts of treasures and trinkets that people might find out in the great Scorchland deserts. But eventually you sort of hop your way around, making it over to the far eastern side of Nocturne, and you're keeping your eyes and your ears open, looking for something strange. It's always how you find Gib. He's always getting himself into something. And you do notice something off as you're sort of just carousing on the rooftops, looking around with your superior vision to pick out any sort of oddities. You make your way close to where many soldiers here in Nocturne like to spend their later days when not on duty. You see a brothel, and sitting outside the brothel are a couple of ladies, look elven in their shape, curvy, slender, very feminine, soft glowing skin, as they seem to be fawning over someone. And it's interesting, Javen, because this person looks really familiar. They have red scales running down their body, wearing somewhat ragged, but still somewhat upkept clothing, a long, winding tail, not quite as long as yours, winding around behind him, and a pair of large red horns sticking up on his head, and a long snout filled with sharp teeth. It looks like you, Javen, but a bit shorter? Sitting outside of a brothel, talking to a couple of beautiful elven women, and you can even hear him speaking. Oh, yeah, of course, I could always play you girls a song. I've just misplaced my horn, so, well, you know, we'll have to, maybe we can reschedule that, put it on a rain check. What do you do?
It looks like me.
It looks like you, but maybe just kind of shorter. Like, here's you on the roof, and here's you on the ground with ladies.
Oh, so it looks that much like me.
About, yeah.
I scour my mind into my past. Does anything come up? Anyone who...
A little bit, yeah. You know, your little friend you like to get your information from is quite skilled in the use of some natural magic. And, I mean, next to you, the original, it's pretty obvious to tell this guy is only a couple feet shorter than you in all of his regards. And if there's anything that a small, cowardly rat is good at, it is putting on a mask and hiding when need be. Or perhaps in this case, it's using it to his own advantage. As you think, this isn't the first time you've caught this little man taking on another person's appearance for some personal gain.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Got me worried there for a second. I was like, oh boy, am I gonna have to beat up Gilb accidentally? Javen will jump to the brothel roof and sort of just hop on down to the alleyway, and then put on his usual drunken stupor with his comically 2 barrels strapped in the front, strapped in the back.
I forgot about the baby barrels.
The baby barrels.
Kind of wrapped up in his babushka.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little hat on it, keep it warm.
The comically looking Javen strolling on by out of the alleyway in his sort of fake drunken stupor, one that Gilb has seen many times when Javen has saved his hide before.
Oh yeah, you come wandering around to the street where these... Seems like they're all having somewhat of a good time. You can see this shorter version of you slouched up against looks like a small stool against the wall, as a couple of girls are like, one of them is running a finger along his chest, whispering something in his ear. Then you sort of stumble into view, and they sort of glance your way, go back to the person they're talking to, and then stop. And the girls look, and you can see the smaller version of you's eyes just get wider, and he goes, oh my god, there's 2 of me. He goes like,
hey there, twin! I haven't seen you in a while.
and you see the girls.
Hang on a second.
Oh,
I'm bored. Hey, twin, how's it going?
twin, Javen, you have a twin?
Yeah. Oh, I see all these girls have messed up your mind.
Javen.
Yeah.
I'm Jorvin.
I'm Baha.
Baha, is this What's going on, Javen? I can explain.
We're brothers, don't you know?
That's your brother? Well, it's more of a long lost removed from a lot of
Something
things. General direction. As the ladies could just get up. You know what? This is weird. Maybe we're drinking too much. Come on, let's go inside, Eddie. And they sort of just leave you be, kind of looking between you guys confused, and soon you're just left with small you. And this smaller Javen looks up at you with his narrow eyes.
Yeah, I tried.
Javen! I was this close!
Apparently not close enough.
Ah! As he just wipes his hands down his face, and you see this, almost like an aura of slime just slide away from his body, as in his place is a small, somewhat shorter than his appearance, but still dripping with Dark Iker, a dark-skinned creature that from first sight you might think is a goblin. But knowing him well enough, he is a gnome, long pointed ears, dark gray skin, just covered in wrinkles and wears of worry and just old age. There were small streaks of silver hair coming off his head. His body, he's wearing these like sort of tattered looking robes and like simple looking clothing, as if it were nice maybe years and years and years ago, but hasn't bought any new ones since. And a small little cloak draped over his shoulders, as, yeah, kind of a hideous looking sight. As he's still sort of dripping, as he just looks up to you, Javen, just this look of disgruntled on his face. I was so close!
You can't fault me in trying.
You can't fault me in trying! Gib needs a win sometimes, Javen! Gib needs a win! What are you doing here?
Making someone so tall?
I mean, I was making it work! I had the scales, I had the horns, I had the voice down. I can do a pretty good Javen.
I'm assuming you had the money too. Speaking of which, how was your little vacation from Crossway?
You know, it was pretty nice. And then I lost all the money, and then I came back for more. And look at this, it's still a shithole.
Never gets better.
Never gets
trade it
better.
for the world, huh?
Yeah, I would absolutely trade it for so much more, Javen. I would trade it for literally anything else. Like money, or gems, or them! As he motions back to the door.
A place to stay, alcohol, a hearth fire. Oh, I'm getting distracted.
Are you just here to bully me? What's going on? Can I just go back and try again?
Business.
Business?
Yep.
What kind of business?
Jody.
Jody. What? Hold on. What kind of Jody business?
You've gone silent.
I talk to Jody. Listen, if she wants to contact me, she goes through you.
Exactly. Except, things got complicated, I guess. The Gilded Coffers are poking their nose. It's going into Oakwell too now.
She messing with the coffers?
She redirected it with my help. Nothing really came of it, but they made their presence known.
Okay, and that's why you want me then? Because she can't use the coffers no more, so she needs old Gib?
I mean, I don't think she ever used the coffers.
Oh. Well, okay.
No, she never messed with them. Jody's a smart woman.
I mean, she messes with a lot of bad people, Javen. I don't know why you're always working with her. She's gonna bring you trouble one day. Trust me. I know that kind of people, and they're gonna get you in some trouble. But is she paying me, or what's going on? What does she want me to do?
She just needs some ear to the ground. That's it.
Okay, so she wants me to inform her then. Okay. Well, you can tell her. I'll keep her informed, but she's gotta pay good money, okay? Because it's hard to do this by myself here. I'm already erasing the freaking rages on my back, just trying to stay alive in this fucking place. There's coffers everywhere now, Javen. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're not just in the Nocturne. They're in every single
They're
district.
everywhere. Oh yeah, I know. One of my friends, I put that term lightly, almost got us stuck up in it. Almost. But I think she deflected it well enough. I hope.
You got people here with you, Javen?
Oh yeah.
Where are they?
In Javen's infinite wisdom, is this a good idea? I feel.
And-
It probably isn't. But in Javen's infinite wisdom, scurrying back to the recesses of his mind with Gib.
Roll me a wisdom check.
Yeah. If, probably. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
I mean, in your experience,
Them all and
Gib has always been loyal to you. You've paid him well, you've kept him safe. You're sort of like, whenever you're in the city, he always has a bit of a loosened lip because he knows that he can talk to you, and if you'll come to his aid if he ever finds himself in trouble again. As far as you hear, yeah, he's pretty trustworthy.
yeah. They're in, what's the district called again? It's like Esmeralda or something?
So the one you guys entered was Esmerelle.
Yeah. We're just passing by. This is really more just a side errand than anything.
Okay. And they're with you now. They're like right around their corner, or they?
Oh, no. No, they're just companions. Traveling companions.
Okay, that's fine. As long as you're not asking too many questions and getting in
As
trouble.
long as they're not... I can't be everywhere at once, Gib. Trust me, I'd love to play Overwatch on all of them. I know one of them is talkative. I think she's smart enough to keep her mouth shut. But
I hope so. Where you guys stationed up? I'll give you the rundown what's going on here in Crossway if you guys need information, because right now you guys be walking on tippy toes. There's
it's as I like squat down and lower my voice. One of them mentioned the gilded coffers directly, and that got us a lot of eyes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna get your eyes. It's gonna get your ears. It's gonna take your eyes and your ears.
It's gonna take your purse. It's gonna take your heart, figuratively and literally.
Okay. I bet, Javen, you brought a bunch of babies into this city, didn't you? You brought a bunch of little babies just wandering around, gonna get their heads cut off. Okay.
Yeah. Don't have to remind me. One of them's the paladin-y type, the holy one.
Oh, that's the fucking worst guy.
Oh yeah, Jody had the foresight to tell him to keep his nose out of trouble, so I hope he's staying at the inn.
Okay, well, good. At least he's useful for that. Hey, well, here, take us back to the whole wherever the fuck you're staying. Keep your head to the ground and just don't make eye contact with nobody. There's
Of course, we never make eye contact when I'm traveling. Come on. As I help Gib on my back.
As you pick up this very short, pudgy-looking gnome, just kind of hangs on your shoulder for a bit as you jump back up the building.
And then I just set him on the barrel for him to sit on it.
As he finds a seat on your barrel.
Alright. Dragon claws. Dragon climb.
As you clamber up the building side using the tips of your sharpened draconic claws and return, basically heading your way back towards the Esmeralda district. As we will cut back to Samantha and Luna as you guys are heading over through the district a bit of a shorter way, moving through these buildings quicker thanks to Luna's expertise in this city. Looking over, you walk through the Azura district, and yeah, it's a lot of familiar looking sights here. Samantha, these blue roof buildings, and a lot of the ground is this white sandstone that looks relatively pristine and clean. And yeah, the people walking among you, a lot of them seem to be like typical Mobians. Others seem to be wearing gear and garb more fit for the open, scorched lands. Long robes and dark golden skin. Some of them keep their eyes to themselves, minding their own business. You see some of them hauling carts and even chests full of glittering objects. Some of them do meet your eye and they give you a very soft and gentle smile, but not many words are shared between passerbys here other than those engaging in commerce. But moving your way through, unless there's anything you want to do here, you'd make your way over to the Nocturne District, where things take a different turn. Where the black roof buildings seem in relatively good state, but a little bit run down. You can see everyone here seems to have something strapped to their waist, a weapon or a bow or a shield on their back. Look like everyone here, it's almost like, in a way, like adventuring towns, where everyone has a weapon on them ready to go fight. Only it's not just the adventurers, it's everybody. Every person here has a weapon. You even see a small child.
Has a halberd.
She has her heavy crossbow strapped to her back. But you do see children like wandering around. A couple of them look like they're playing some sort of game with each other until you hear the clinging of steel as you realize they're actually fighting with daggers. Each of them sort of marred in small little red cuts across their body. Bit of a dangerous area.
Youth.
As you do.
As, you've never played dagger, tit for tat except with daggers.
Alright. This is a very interesting place. I'm sure we'll find
That's
plenty
one
of
word for it.
unscrupulous people here.
I look for a place where it seems like a bar, somewhere where a lot of people are gathering.
Yeah, see if we can find
Okay.
the best drink in the district.
Ooh. Asking around through some of the rough and tumble looking people. Both of you just give me a straight up charisma roll as you are mingling. I guess technically,
streetwise.
I guess technically Luda with advantage, considering you are meeting a lot of people for the first time.
I have never even conceived of the idea of a streetwise check.
I just stand there and look pretty.
Okay. Yep, you know how to you walk up to some of these people, and some of them turn their eyes towards you, scarred and cut faces, sort of dismissive at first, until they see your long flowing white hair, your perfect makeup, and your maybe soft cutting smile that seems to disarm them. And yeah, you ask them, following Samantha's lead, where's the best drink you can find here? And they happily guide you, not just tell you or point you in the direction, but lead you to a place known as the Cutter's Mug. This pretty, there's first simple looking, like almost tall rectangular building, but as you get close, you can smell the horrible thing to say, but you're gonna smell it. The scent of strong alcohol, not quite sweetness, just bitter and strong. And inside, you can hear the sounds of songs being played, as it seems like this is where a lot of people go just to get sloshed.
Alright, Samantha, who do you think is the most susceptible? So I'll look around to see, I guess, someone who's like sitting alone or mostly alone.
Yes, I find the men easiest to manipulate are the ones that believe in themselves. In an odd turn of events, when you're as pretty as we are, as I look around the room for anyone that has a sort of roguish or devilish sort of charm to them, I'm looking for the Han Solos of the bar.
Certainly. You're looking around this place. You're in the Tyrian influence district, so you do see a number of half-elves with their sharp-knifed ears, and although many half-elves you've met around are quite charming and quite personable, some of those ones here seem like they've been hardened by something, possibly by war, or maybe just the drinks they're having, as they're not quite as smiley or friendly. Although you do see one man sort of sitting, nursing a drink by himself on the far corner, just sort of, you find him not by his lonesomeness, but by hearing amongst the songs playing in the background, the rough housing between some people, like, sounds like they're also playing that child's game, only sitting at a table with knives between each other's hands, trying to block each other's blows and stab between each other's fingers. You catch the soft humming of a mild-mannered song as you see a particular-looking half-elf, or maybe full elf, sitting at the edge of the table. He's got a pretty decent, happy look to him, I suppose. He seems, at least for the most part, willing to turn your way as you approach and smile as you're greeted by a pretty happy-looking figure.
I'll get the job done. Yes, I am just... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Of course, no, of course, you, yeah. As I am.
Good start. Good start.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and just lean right into being my most impressive self. Well, you seem to be, well, having a good time around here. May I sit with you?
Guests? I suppose so. Well, go on, just mind the seats. There might be some, well, I don't know if it's sweat or drink or something upon them at the moment as he waves his hand over and clicks his finger, and then a small spark pops between them and the seats just seem to wash away. Sorry. People like to have fun here. Not my kind of fun I like to partake in.
Oh, wow, you know magic?
I certainly do. The world is, well, I'd say full of it, but more gifted with it, and those equally gifted, I suppose, blessed by its touch. Why, would you like to see more?
Oh, of course, as I sit down right across from him. So what's your name?
Well, let's see. What is my name? My name. And you hear the soft as you look around and you see a quill on the table next to you. Looks like a small piece of parchment where like a small, sort of like a napkin, more like just a towel sitting there, where a small bit of ink has been dipped, and this quill seems to be almost moving on its own. And you see 4 great letters being written before following by others. The name, well, as you can see, as he motions toward it, says Alan Zephyr.
Alan Zephyr. Does that, well, since what I know about elves, they don't really have last names, so he's not an elf. Well, Alan, we are, I guess in a way, sort of new to this place, and we were just trying to have a nice drink. You want to share one with us?
I would love to, although I would advise, this is not really the place for soft folk, possibly as yourselves, to be settling for a drink. This is more for, well, their type. As he motions over to you, just hear this thud as one of the men falls out of their chair. The other one leaping upon him, you see him holding a dagger in his hand. Like, I told you, I got the finger, you gotta let me cut it! I like to watch, though. It's entertaining. But if you're willing to brave such lands, I will not stop you.
The barbarity is good entertainment, I agree. So I sort of like look around to see like how far like the actual bar is from where we're sitting.
It's actually not super far, only about like 35 feet or so from where you guys are sitting, but there's so much clamor and action just going on. They seem to almost be in their own world, sort of focused only on themselves.
Okay, so then I would reach into my bag and pull out my Rum Runner's Choice. Yeah. Do you like rum? As I just pour him a glass and pour myself one and pour one for Luna.
Well, I can't refuse from a beautiful woman. As he takes the glass, gives a sniff. Oh, to new acquaintances and to the enjoyment of barbaric nature, I suppose.
Viewers, never take drinks from strangers at a bar.
Mhm.
Especially when they pull it out of their bag.
Only if they have a passive
Especially from
character.
shady people and they're guys and you're a girl. Don't do it. It's a bad
Yeah.
idea.
Especially if someone comes to a bar with their own bottle of drink and pours it for you.
Here,
It seemed like we weren't
Especially-
going to be getting service
hey,
anytime
Alan.
soon, so... So, Alan, what is the up and up with Crossway these days? Like I said, we are, in a way, new.
Well, what exactly are you wanting to know? If you want some news, well,
Well,
how long are you going to be in the
Alan,
city for?
there are many places I could have gone to ask for news, but I've come here to meet with you. So obviously I want news pertaining to, our surroundings, if you will.
See, definitely brave you are.
Experienced.
Experience. I wouldn't even see it in you. Suppose so, if you're really wanting to know what's going on around here, well, besides the a constant bar fighting and shifting of blades. There's supposed to be a new shipment of weaponry coming down from the north eventually, from the whole, what's that city called? Broken Ridge. Supposed to revolutionize things. I can't speak for certain of what's going on around here. Just fighting as always, and well, always a bit of violence going on and shifting of coin. Is that why you're here? Are you looking to get in on some of that?
The shifting of coin does interest me deeply. As I just kind of like look him up and down, just looking for any indications or insignias or any sort of badges or anything that shows affiliation with anything.
Sure. Give me an investigation roll.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep, you look him over. You do see something marked on his. Looks like a cloak he's wearing looks like some padded armor. It catches your eye for a second, and it's golden color, and you're like, oh my god, this is. And you realize, oh, it's actually not at all what you thought it would be. It's not any sort of badge marked by any criminal. It's actually a very familiar sight to you guys. These 3 small hills together, the symbol of Sarabin.
Not from around here either. And she just sort of like gestures towards the badge before taking a sip of her rum.
I cannot lie. I find myself in times of great reprieve from my work down in Sarabin, so I like to take time off to come visit one of my favorite districts of this city. It's actually the city I was born and raised in all my life. Get a little homesick, you know?
I do know the feeling.
Yeah, although I can say it's not quite the same as it used to be.
Really? What's changed?
Oh, this city's always been rough and tumble, especially this district. Everyone wants to get their hands on something. Trade moves through Crossway like water under a bridge, although this bridge moves in many directions. Many hands and much room to take from this trade. But recently, all the fun of the, well, barbarity I'm used to seeing between these warring groups have come to an end. Seems that one of them has, I suppose, taken over the rest. Or at least beat them into submission. And that's really not fun. Beating something in submission, you want to see them fight. You want to see them clash. You want to see challenge. And that is all gone now. Though, it would be ill-advised if I spoke the name under such, well, words dipped in acid. You catch my drift.
Seems like the bickering and squabbles have resulted in someone coming out on top. Interesting. Perhaps they would be worthwhile to work for? Would you know?
I have heard many things from this group. I have heard that they have lots of money. Lots and lots of it. And with that money, they can buy lots and lots of things. Things most people could never put their hands upon.
Like weapons?
Working for them, it's weapons. Weapons is just the
Broken
start of it.
Ridge?
Not just Broken Ridge, from Drakova. Have you seen the wares they use? Oh, they are terrifying, truly. Works of great ingenuity. I hope you never have to see them yourself, though. Unless you are considering working with them, I would advise simply being cautious. If you find yourself no longer brave among their people, well, they're a big family, I suppose. They don't like it when family tries to leave.
I see.
I feel that.
But if you are interested in looking for them, they do have, well, a place where one could mingle among them without having to worry about who is looking over other shoulders. You'll be surrounded by them. Are you also entertained by fighting? Do you love watching people brawl and beat one another into bloody pulps? To see who stands out on top?
I like to stand on top.
Interesting.
As I just sort
Well,
of
if-
just dance a bit of magic between my fingers, green in color.
Hmm. Well, if such things are your interest, then perhaps one of these nights you might wish to visit the Den of Fist.
I see.
All you need is ask is where the den may reside, and someone will happily show you. It's quite entertaining, although it will cost some coin to visit. And I hope you, hope you don't like. You're not afraid of being enclosed by walls. It is quite deep beneath the city.
Do you often go down there? Or have
Many
you ever been
times,
there?
actually. I have been there many times, although it is, again, quite expensive to view. Although recently it has been quite entertaining. They have something of a champion among this Den of Fists, a man who has never been beaten. And I must say, I do not see him being overcome easily at all. Mountain of a man he is.
I think I may know
Could you
someone.
describe him?
Oh, I got this.
Truly not
He
much
should
to
be there.
describe. Has to be at least 7, 8, perhaps 9 feet in height. Body just clad in muscle as if it were armor. Although not much to see of his face. Likes to wear a mask. Very tight one too. It seems to, one could imagine almost chokes him by wearing it. And yet he still is able to roar and scream. But most of the screaming comes from those who dare challenge him. It's quite entertaining. Although it would be nice to see someone finally topple him.
I see, I see. Well, you have been very helpful, Alan. Anything else going on? If you don't mind me asking, what is it you do down in Sarabin?
Oh, I run a small inn. Well, I would say run. Currently, I'm allowing my apprentice to hold the mantle, but it's something of a simple establishment. Like to house adventurers to come in and tell their stories of their travels. Let the people hear of their work. And I believe it's been somewhat of a slow period. Lots of folks from Oakwell are making their names known, so we have more pass-throughs in our town as of recent. So I figured, make lemonade out of lemons and use that downtime to come visit my home. But as far as what's going on here, I've heard recently that Tyrion is supplying themselves with even greater weapons. Thought their war was over, but who's to say? Although I will say, how long are you going to be? Oh, yes, Tyrion. But if you're going to be in the city for some time, I will say, at least possibly stay or find yourself here maybe the next few weeks. Supposedly something amazing is going to happen in the Grand Citadel at the center, up at Crimson Wall. Someone's apparently coming down from Brokenridge to show off something revolutionary.
The Grand
Just
Citadel,
the
you
next
said?
few weeks.
Well, possibly, yes. If they arrive on time, and they certainly try to.
Interesting. Interesting indeed. You said you like to allow adventurers to spread their names down in Sarabin and the like from your inn. What's the name of your inn? Perhaps I might stay there if I find myself traveling that way.
Oh, it's the Dragon's Circle. You can't miss it. It is the largest, well, suppose besides the mayor's estate, the second largest building you'll find in Sarabin.
Good name, Dragon Circle. I did catch wind of one group on the way over here, something about some Valiant 7 or Vanguard. Have you heard of them in Sarabin?
Can't say I have. Valiant, that name stands out. Does sound like someone from Oakwell. Possibly some of the ones that have been taking away our... I suppose some of our traffic, but I suppose if I can get them in the inn, it would do all of us a good favor.
Well, perhaps if you are so lucky. As I am down to schmooze and just shoot the shit with Alan for like maybe like another 30 to 45 minutes, unless Luna wants to ask anything in character that really matters.
No, I think you got all the important questions. I don't really know what else we could ask him that would be important.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have more questions, but they're not like the things that you're just like, ask a complete stranger who you've just shared a drink with, and just like, hey, spill all your secrets, kind of things. So yeah, then I would just sort of want to make an impression on Alan, and then bid him farewell.
Sure. It just seems like he just makes some small talk. He seems mostly just interested in these two beautiful women talking to him and inquiring about his inn, which he goes into more detail about, detailing it as a place where a handful of now vagabond dragonborn made their start, and they come back from time to time, and if you're lucky, you might find them there at the inn if you ever decide to visit the Dragon Circle. Besides that, he just sort of talks about not his childhood, but just some of the things he enjoys in this district. The rough and tumbleness, just being entertaining to watch, and just being a place where you can get away from the safety and security of town and village walls and just sort of live amidst the danger. But other than that, he doesn't really share too much. Okay.
It's only
And with
one.
all that... Oh, what's that?
Actually, I'll just do it on the way back. It's fine. I'll just make a mental note of it.
Sure. Make an actual note of it.
Yeah.
As some hours pass, and eventually the sun begins to set quite early in this... actually, no, sets later, because you're on the western side. As hour gets on, night's pressing in, and the party slowly but surely makes their way back.
Yeah.
David actually making it pretty quick. What's up?
Before I leave, can I ask if there's any news about Zamaria?
Sure. It sounds like Zamara itself, the city of the elves in the Tyrian country where you came from, has been somewhat quiet. They have some soldiers that actually passed through Crossway not too long ago, mostly moving into Tyrian. Just seems like they're doing what they usually did during the war, when they needed supplies, when they needed wares, and the rest of the world sort of stood by as the Illyrians warred against them. It was Crossway in the Nocturne District that actually decided to aid them. They gave them some soldiers to help them fight. They gave them some swords to help them stand against their enemies. So they're just sort of continuing their trade with them.
Is there any word about the Dawn songs?
Not particularly.
Persephone, hearing news of what's happening on the eastern shore, she wants to know if there's anything happening in the western Illyrian land.
All dead.
Good place to do it. You do hear, just there's some meandering asking around. How specific are you being, really? Are you just asking what's going on in this general area? Or are you asking, like, in certain cities?
She starts with general to get kind of like a feel, but then she moves closer to wanting to know of if any word has come from Ronan, of Inolin, any rumors of what may get talked about during the Eternal Oath meeting that should be coming up soon.
Yeah, roll me a straight D20.
Ooh.
You got DM inspiration, I'm just saying.
Yeah, can I use my inspiration for that?
Sure. Absolutely.
Yes! Let's see what I get.
Oh.
Shame.
All right. Yeah, the biggest thing that comes up is just that, the old Emerald Oath is coming together once again. Usually whenever this great council of elves in Illyria comes together to talk, it's to initiate some sort of either change, albeit usually they're all very small. The elves are pretty keen on sticking to their heritage and the way they've run things before. The only thing that does sort of pick up, it starts off maybe just as a word sort of spoken offhand until you start to stop and linger on it. It does revolve around Illyria, or Inolin. Supposedly, there's some nobility there that is, word on the wind is that a suitor has been found and that the nobility is going to be made official as a marriage is somewhat on the horizon.
Wait, who? Does anyone know about who the suitor is?
They don't give you a name. They don't really know the names of these people, but they do know that there is supposedly a young heir to the city who apparently is getting married to someone. At least supposedly, if things play out right.
Oh, well, that's wonderful news. Wonderful.
Can I insight check her on this to see it's odd?
Are you hiding your emotions, Persephone?
It's not hiding. It looks like she was thrown off by hearing this. It might be bizarre. You know, civilians want to know what's happening at home and their nobility and things like that. But how many people look almost surprised and almost concerned, and it just doesn't look like a normal reaction for somebody just trying to get gossip.
I don't know if you watch the fucking royal weddings and shit, TV. People go crazy over
Oh, you're right, Persephone. You have a crush on him or something.
Oh, gods, no.
Oh.
No. Lord Raoul isn't really my type. He's not that much older than me. I didn't think they'd find him a suitor so soon.
Lord Raoul. Do I recognize that title?
Roll me a straight int check. Actually, roll me a history check. It's all about people. It does sort of stand out. You do know that there is a nobility over in Lynn, and you do know that, well, supposedly, if your memory serves correctly, there is a young man, Raoul, who's meant to take over the city after, well, once it's handed to him. You think you've heard along the way that he's possibly not a full-blooded elf, which is sort of a strange thing to happen for elven nobility, considering usually it means the holder of the title, the holder of the city, would possibly outlive their children. So how could such things be handed off if the children are going to die? But yeah, you definitely heard of it. Definitely seems like this person is probably the heir to Inalin.
It is quite odd. I believe he's a half elf.
Yeah, why is that so odd that he's a half elf?
Well, usually half elves don't take the title of leaders of the city if their patriarchal father would outlive them.
Yes, well, the House of Thea has a very unique situation this generation.
Oh, how so?
Well, High Lord Kylon wasn't even supposed to be in charge of Inolin. That was his sister. And, well, she's not around anymore. So he took over after her death, and by then he had already wed a half-elven woman. And he was not going to take on a full elvish wife just to appease the oath.
Good for him.
Yeah, I guess that is something admirable, but it does mean his children have a lot to live up to. It's not easy.
I mean, it's never easy to live up to your father's expectations. Sometimes that's why it's good to have a grandfather.
Well, that's fair. But it's a lot harder considering half-elves in Illyria after the war aren't looked at quite as kindly as they used to be. To be honest, a lot of people just kind of expected Kylon's children to be disappointments and mess-ups and screw-ups, and the very prospect of him giving his children any form of power was actually ridiculous and even laughable.
You sure know a lot about this family.
I grew up in Inolin. Of course I know a lot about this family.
Well, were they?
What was that?
Were they?
Were they what? Disappointments?
Screw-ups and disappointments and all that.
I like to imagine Quill is eating ice cream.
No, we're eating
Really?
fruit.
Well, it's interesting.
Delicious!
Well,
Oh, how depressing.
I haven't been there in almost a year, so I can't really say, but last I heard, Rao was really trying to follow in his father's footsteps. I mean, he looked like he was going to be in the wrong direction, and he straightened up.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
The other child. This is another son.
No. He has a younger sister. Nobody really likes to talk about her.
Did she do something of great dishonor?
It's hard to say. Some people have said that she kind of has an issue speaking out. It's a little unruly, not really ladylike.
Oh, she has an actual spirit about her. Like an opinion.
Yeah, she does.
I never understood why. So many elves want their women to be quiet. It's quite boring.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's just because she's the daughter, because Rao was also expected to be quiet, pristine and all that, elven culture. I think it was more so... Well, the former High Lady kind of left a really bad mark on their line. Having half-elven children is already regarded as expected disappointment. So not only do they have to meet the standards of Illyrian society, but they also have to make up for what their aunt had caused.
Yeah. More and more it sounds like you will enjoy your time in Tyrion. We're not as pretentious.
That would be amazing to be around not pretentious elves.
Not all of us, though. There are still some that are quite interesting. Holds a little bit to the olden ways, but... Are you going to go to... Are you going to send a gift to the wedding? If you are from there, is that not tradition?
I just might.
Perhaps you can send money to your father or mother and they can purchase the gift there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll think on it.
I'm sure they will wear quite lovely outfits. That daughter of his, I'm sure she will have a glorious dress. They normally do that in elven weddings.
Oh yeah,
Not all the stops.
the most flowy dresses. So much so that it's almost like they look like flowers themselves.
Oh, have you seen many royal weddings?
No. I just meant in terms of gowns at formal events. I stuffed my face with fruit.
It's quite good, isn't it?
We saved the seeds. I should be able to flirt this all the way over. Nom, eating.
You're gonna do okay.
You guys, over time, the sun finally sets. The sky, this pitch black, save for the sparkling of stars. Although it's kind of hard to see some of them in the other districts as you're making your way back, as it seems like some of the lights of the actual surrounding you in this lively district of Azura seems like it comes to life at night. These golden glow, like candle lights and torches, sort of pitching the sky, even hiding some of the jewels of stars. Until eventually, all of you make it back to the Sparrow's Nest, with Javen probably being the first one. Greg, you see him come into the actual inn. I'm pretty happy with a tiny little grotesque, shriveled-looking man sitting on his back barrel.
Should I have kept Gib out?
Do you want to?
Gib.
He's a gnome.
I'd be talking to Gib while we were traveling, like trying to get the scoop in as we're traveling, trying to get him to tell me what's up. What's going down in Esmeralda.
Sort of revealing you about what's going on to the city besides just the shit with the coffers. He does mention that supposedly the Han district is coming in from the north. Supposedly they got some shit they're gonna show off in Crimson Wall. It's gonna be a big old thing. It's gonna be. They say it's gonna revolutionize trade in Mobia, if not all of Hearth, or some bullshit.
Oh.
But yeah. Oh, and there's a bunch of people sick up in Iverford, but that's just because they're fucking dumb dwarves. Keep digging and messing with adamantine, you gotta get adamantine poison.
Oh, I guess that's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, got a bunch of those fucking Sundrop girls going over there helping them, but they're waiting on medicine coming down from that fucking well place. Ain't show up yet, so they're probably gonna fucking die.
Sucks to suck, I guess.
Sucks to suck. You know me well, Javen. Yeah, that's about all the rundown he gives you in terms of just what's going on in Crossway.
It wasn't that much. I don't know how much I really want everyone to know about Gib. Cause Gib's gonna be staying in Crossway, isn't he?
He lives here.
Yeah, he lives here.
Yes, yeah.
I'd help him out and try and... Does Gib usually find his own way in establishing, getting... Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean.
He seems like he's got something planned. He just wants to get you guys together so he gets you motherfuckers out of trouble. Because it sounds like you just let a bunch of doddering babies who really don't know how this city works.
All kids, a bunch of people
Let a bunch of people all by themselves in this city while there's coppers everywhere. After one of them just named them. Like, yeah, please get everyone back together.
Grab Javen by the man bun and smash his face into a wall.
Yeah, no, it's a desk. Do it again.
But yeah, like, he definitely seems like he has a plan. He seems like he has a plan. He just wants to get all of you guys out of the streets for a while so we can fucking talk to you.
Alright. Yep. Then Javen will walk in with Gib. Friend, Gregory's gonna meet Gib eventually, so...
Oh, yeah. And people kind of give him weird looks because he's not a very handsome-looking guy, but he doesn't get stopped. He's a gnome. He walks in just like any other gnome would. But yeah, eventually...
Also, he's with Javen.
Yeah, he's with Javen, Mr. Partier. As you do make it back to the Sparrow's Nest, as slowly but surely everyone else start making it back. Yeah, but of all of them, Gregory, what are you up to for like basically 7-8 hours?
Oh, I put on my mask and cape and I go out to fight crime.
Yeah.
Well, I basically fucking worried a bit about the whole Nina situation and just not really knowing what in the world we're really supposed to be getting up to around here. Thinking about maybe trying to get a pet of some sort, but eventually, you know, time goes by and Gregory just starts getting bored, starts to check through just the rations he got, realize that we've gone through about half the rations or so that he brought with him so far, and thinking about maybe restocking his own, and then realizing got a big old book in his bag that he hasn't really had the time to just sit down and without something else happening. So, to sort of distract himself from the sounds of people getting up to no good out on the street outside, opens up big old intricately bound book titled I don't know how to pronounce this again. Altrudius.
Altrudius, yes.
Altrudius.
Mm-hmm.
So he opens it up and just sort of runs his hands across the engraving and just sort of flips through it and just tries to just get his mind off everything as he actually starts to get absorbed into chapters and passages as, yeah, he is just gonna fucking lose himself in just reading over the passages of this.
Okay, roll me a D100.
Ah.
Let's see. Yeah, it's probably the first time you've actually, like, without Father Winter there guiding you or helping go over things with you, it's the first time you actually just sat down and started going through the passages, and a lot of them are very familiar, especially the beginning ones. They talk about the initial graces of Avandra that she gives to humans and the small gifts they handed them to accompany on their journey, known as the Halflings. It's basically about as far as you get, just reminding yourself of the journey that humans made across this land. They didn't do so alone. They did it with a small friend to keep them company, with a skip and a hop and a smile. Good shit, though.
The Shaven walks in with a small friend who's ugly.
As you do see Javen come in, and as the door opens, you small creature hops down from Javen's back, starts walking around, looking, birds sort of fluttering. You see most of them are actually nestling in a nest as they start to sleep. You do hear the soft, quiet ooh, 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 as these tiny little owls start to come alive. But
Yeah,
Javen,
Please
I'd
don't
just
be
be
that good.
locked up in the room as I'm just fucking absorbed.
okay. Slowly but surely, as unless there's anything you want to do specifically, Javen, Persephone and Quill would make their return still in the district, and last of all of them, maybe only like 30 minutes later, would be Samantha and Luna. As everyone starts to reconverge into this sparrow's nest.
Okay. Why is this place so
Did you do
big?
a lot of walking? Oh no, wait, that was Samantha. Oh god.
It sounded like
No,
Quill.
It sounded like
It did.
Quill.
Sounded like Quill, yeah.
Oh, I'm looking.
Right. Oh. Oh, it's Javen!
Javen would be. Actually, yeah, he'd be out and about. He'd be in the bar.
Of course he'd be in
But
the
he'd call down Gregory when he started people coming in.
Oh, yeah. I look up at the window, realize it's starting to get dark outside. Ah, yeah, I'm coming. Hold on.
Oh, hell. Here we go again.
Would it be a good idea for us to talk out in the open of the bar, or should we like huddle into Gregory's room?
Depends on what you're talking about. If you're just talking about the city,
Gib.
pretty fine talking
Gib,
open.
whatever
If you're-
Gibb's thinking.
If you're talking to ask Gib what's the best idea, wherever there's no pioneers.
Okay, we'll go to Gregory.
So one of the rooms.
Hey, Javen, what you
Oh.
got there?
Is Gib. He's my
I'm
friend.
Gib.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
Gib.
Howdy, Gil. Gregor Timothy, not to meet you.
Yeah, this is the paladin.
As you see his eyes sort of squint as he looks at you, Greg.
Big old man.
Hey, I ain't no paladin or nothing.
Holy man, the claw, same difference.
Hmm.
Alright, what's up?
Nothing. All human names sound all the same.
Oh, you got me there.
Oh, right. Oh, hey, yo.
A friend of yours.
Alright. Yeah. The same way how you have friends,
Just looking around at everyone.
Samantha.
Ah, a friend of yours. Understood.
Yes, a friend of yours.
The name's Gib. People call me Gib the Rat, but you can just call me Gib.
Yeah, you can just
I will address you as nothing, and you will take 3 steps back.
I do what the fuck I want. This is my home.
It is.
It's Luna.
Yeah, that's a lot.
She
Don't worry
doesn't
about it.
like gnomes.
That is Samantha. We got Quill and Persephone.
Yep.
Huh. So these
Yeah.
are the babies you brought in the Crossway.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm a fully adult half-elf.
He doesn't mean it like that, Persephone.
I think it
I'm-
means that we don't know the ways of this city,
Oh, look at you.
the deep ways.
Oh, listen, we got one with a head on his shoulders, on those
Don't
big
worry.
fucking shoulders. Jeez. All right.
Remind you of someone. Remind you of someone.
Well, at any rate, from
You're
what
right.
I hear, some of you guys is starting to slip up. You don't know the way things work around here, so I'm gonna make it real simple. When
Wait,
you're in
what y'all
Crossway-
do?
When you're in Crossway, don't talk about the Gilded Coffers like they're nothing. Unless you're praising them and kissing their ass, you don't say shit about them. Because everyone can have their hands in the coffer. Whether they're wearing their badge or not, everyone's got hands in that coffer. They got their hands in that gold. You make them an enemy, you're making a lot of enemies. So just follow my lead when I tell you what to do, okay? You walk in the streets and you see a man with a badge on him, big old box, and he's doing something. Old Gibbs says, don't fucking interact with them. If they look at you, look away. If they say something to you, make small talk and leave. Don't get involved. If they get interested in you, that's when you get trouble. Even if they want to give you jobs and money and pay you and shit. You don't want to interact with them directly.
No.
Unless you want to make a lot of money, in which case you could make so much money, like
Yeah, but
so
at what
much money.
cost, Gib?
Well, your life, but money though.
Your soul, your heart, you know.
Well, just your life, really.
But, Gib, you said everyone is in the offer.
No, basically everybody.
I mean,
You don't need to be a stand-up Gilded Coffers member to have some sort of interest. Someone could be paying you a lot of money to make sure that the coffers are the ones that are helping ship your goods. Maybe you was some trader and you accidentally stepped on the coffer's toes, and now you got to keep working for them so that they don't beat your family up. Everyone's got something with the coffers.
So that means you have your hands
we
in the
owe part of
coffers.
everyone.
Oh, I certainly do. I certainly do.
So what exactly is stopping you from going to tell them about us?
Because that man is very fast. And if I try to do something
smile.
stupid,
I give him a big old the very
Jesus,
rare
man.
you guys haven't seen the Javen will fuck you up smile. The very
What?
toothy grin.
once upon a time, there was a
See,
bar.
I'm not the only
There
one
was
that
some
does
little
that.
dragon man from Drakova who was just beating people left and right. I tried to maybe rig a bet against him, and I found out, and that's why my head's this shape now. So we're cool, right?
What joke?
Yeah.
Oh,
David, you changed the shape of his head?
I mean, it happens.
Yes, it happens.
And I learned my lesson.
He did. The point is, everyone's got a stake in this.
Indeed.
So we...
Oh, thanks for the warning, but Javen,
We'll be
what?
out, aren't we? Real fast. Right? Did you all find any information that we can get out of here and head where we need to go?
Well, we're not certain, but we think we might know where, or at least what the man we're looking for does on his free time, I guess.
Fantastic. So now we just send that on to Oakwell, and then we head on up to... Well,
We'll
Where's
see
the
about
last?
that. Like I said,
What do you
there's a host
What
of
do you
things
mean?
to do
what do you mean?
when we come back down.
Explain. Okay. Okay.
Why, you guys
Yo,
looking
we're
for
going
work?
up.
No, never you mind, Gib, Jib, the mouse, whatever.
I'd rather we talk about this now. I don't like that tone, Samantha.
What tone?
Don't you play coy.
A tone
As you
of,
see, Javen very rarely. Oh, he has a very serious face on.
Do we,
Uh,
are
This
we
is a
like
matter of the entire party, Samantha.
Are we still like in a public space, or do we all
We're in
like
the
shuffle
room.
into?
Or in his room.
We're in Greg's room. Or Javen's room, Greg's room.
A room.
Hey, room.
So I'd rather any discussion not be made in front of this thing.
yes, and it's all a
I'm
matter.
a person, thank you very
It's
much.
That's a gnome.
It's all a matter of what events come to pass with our other business. If it doesn't matter, it no longer matters. It's not something I'm scheming about, Javen. Don't worry.
I hope for the integrity of the party. It's not.
No, I've got a pretty good impression of what it is we're dealing with here from the information we've gathered. And, you know, this sort of organization is not one to be crossed. I understand.
I'm very confused.
That's your job.
It's your natural state, it's okay.
So y'all didn't go out shopping.
No, that was a lie.
We did.
Saving face, 10%. Saving face.
You definitely seem like Jody's lot with the lion. I can see that.
We'll probably have to do some shopping
Yeah.
when we come back. It's... God, what on earth do you get a 9-year-old for her birthday? That is a very difficult question, I think.
Wait, why would you buy her
Alcohol.
something?
Money.
It's
Huh.
What?
it's Greg's sister.
Oh, we buy them gifts all the time.
Oh, have you? Oh. Wait, do I?
I think they tried to like steal her away from me or something. I'm not
She's
really
too
sure.
adorable for him, honestly. I mean, look at him. He's just this oaf.
I mean,
We're trying to adopt her into our hag Devon.
Yep, she'll
Why?
become the third
Why?
member of our
She's a small
witch group.
child.
That's when you get them young, Quildor. You get them young, get
Guess
them to
that
start,
makes more sense.
start giving
Ah,
reverence to
Oh.
Asmodeus, and before you know it, they're flying on a broom with you. It's how it works.
David, these people are fucked up.
No, it's a joke.
Well, there you go. Get her a pointy hat for a birthday.
Oh, you've, gosh, wow, you were on top of it. Maybe you are useful. Maybe we can turn you into something, some sort of golem or something. Do I be
Yeah, I think they're being ironic, Gib. Or at least I hope they
Huh.
are.
Samantha just kinda gives you an elbow in the ribs.
So just to get my head around this, y'all went out there looking for things, found out where what the big man or little man
Big
was
man.
doing something. Found big man. So we just gonna tell Urquell he's here? I mean, they gonna be looking at him, and it sounds like from Gib here that anybody going after him gonna get themselves in trouble.
That's true. We might end up starting a whole war against Oakwell and the whole Gilded Coffers. We don't know how big they are. Sounds like they're big.
Pretty fucking big.
They're everywhere in Crossway.
What big guy you talking about? What big guy you talking about?
What was the bounty on his head?
I take out the ripped part that showed the bounty.
Wasn't it just for information, though, on where to find him?
Yeah. So we just say he's. Well,
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to find out. If it's just information, okay, that's fine. How much is the bounty?
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
they were
300
asking-
gold, it was like 300 gold pieces for just flat out giving information on this guy.
Yeah, so
I had 500 gold.
500 gold. That's it.
see that's what I was trying to confirm.
There's a lot of money just for some info.
And we've got the information. Perfect.
Yes.
So that
in the
was
words
something
of
we can-
Jody. Exactly.
We can scratch off our list and not have to worry too much about. And we did not blow our cover in any way either, so that shouldn't trace
Or at
back
least
to
not
us.
as much.
And we're sure he's part of the coffers, right?
Definitely.
I mean, Jody
Yeah.
thinks he.
Well, I mean, he's like big, right?
Yeah, I have it on
Like,
pretty
he has a mask.
pretty sound word that he's a part of that organization, and he likes to
Really?
make himself.
Hold up. Big guy, coffer guy. You're looking for him?
Coffer guy.
Well,
Like
we just
7
really
feet
need to know
tall?
where he could be found.
Yeah, there was a fella come in town ripping doors off buildings.
Yeah, he had like a mask and he had like a small, short one from the coffers too. He's like
Samantha
red.
just sort of cradles her face in one of her hands and just sighs.
You're looking for the hunk. Oh shit.
What?
What?
The hung?
The hunk.
Donk.
The
Like,
hunk.
oh.
With a K, like a hunk of food.
I was very confused there, but that was.
I mean, it goes
This
like
game is
everybody-
taking a very dark turn.
Yeah.
Timberson. I didn't realize.
Yeah, that's one of the big boys. Yeah. Ooh. You can take him down. That'd be
Wait, how big?
that'd be a pretty good thing. Well, bigger than you, big
Is
guy.
it the smart thing, though?
I don't believe it's a smart thing. That's not what we're here for. We don't want.
Not
to
here for the smart thing. We're here to keep our hides.
I thought we were going to
Ah,
Dragon's Web.
Yes, help Luna. We're
For
gonna
the
help
right
Luna.
price.
Help Luna.
Samantha,
Help
I
Luna.
I feel like
Help Luna.
Get derailed.
Jody
Help
would
Luna.
rather have. Thank you, Jason. I feel like Jody would rather us not get in trouble for a lot of money.
Oh,
But
no,
there is a lot of money to make.
There's always more gold to be made, but it is
I
not
mean, you
something.
want to fight the hunk?
Kib,
I mean, it sounds like you wanted to fight the hunk.
I don't necessarily want to fight the hunk, but if she just like puts a hand on Gregory's shoulder, there are many ways to get things accomplished.
Samantha!
Wait, what?
But it is a matter that I would talk about with Jody, not something I would do on my own initiative. This, like I said, Javen, I recognize just how potent this organization is. I do not want coffers coming after me. I already have enough.
Or any of
problems.
us.
Yes, or any of you, of course. So we have the information we need. We can go back, get 300 gold coins. Maybe I can talk with Jody to see if we could get even more money for bringing him down. And there are ways to do that without it necessarily being... she just gestures to the room. Us, who do it.
I mean, you can just beat him up. He's in the Den of Fists.
Yeah, I got that.
What you're not getting is why people go fight him and die. It's a lot of money to make if you beat him. He's
How
the
much
fucking
money?
champion. 10,000 gold, baby.
Gregory, how
Gregory, you
does
don't- you don't have to
10,000
do this.
gold sound to
Oh,
you, my
no.
friend?
Gregory, you don't have to do
Gregory.
My
this.
don't.
illustrious and wonderful friend.
Please.
You're
Look,
gonna
I-
fucking die.
Look, I get the whole. Why? I mean, that's
I mean, he did go into your
That's a lot of
town.
but just
Samantha!
beating him up in a fighting ring ain't. I mean, it sounds like the man needs to be arrested, but it sounds like he's sort of untouchable, right? Besides just
Yeah.
beating him up in a ring with. That's a lot
I mean,
of money,
beating
but
him
that,
up in
that
the
doesn't
ring.
really solve nothing. Don't sound like.
Lot of
Sounds
money,
easier
though.
said
Well,
than done.
I mean, to be fair, you could beat him in the ring, collect the 10,000 gold, and then provide his name to the authorities. And, well, I've seen the things that you've beaten. I doubt he'd be able to fight them off after you've, well, done what you've done best.
Wait,
From what it sounds like, it seems like these fights are to the death.
yeah.
I mean, he's not
Well,
going
they
to kill
can be.
Gregory. It's
He
Gregory!
kills a lot of people.
I mean, he sounds really big. Gregory
He
is
is
really
big.
big, but he sounds really big.
He
is
does sound really big, but I mean, this man could literally punch a tree in half. He's ridiculous. I believe
I
in
feel like he
him.
could pro-
But usually when Gregory is fighting, we're all around
Well,
him supporting him in some way.
Listen. If you're all worried about Big Timber Boy over here, you can just go watch him fight. You can just go watch people fight in the den.
And I'm
Costs some
sh-
money, though.
What's the Golden Coffer's feelings on influencing these fights? I'm sure they play their cards where they need to have this champion, right? There's no way he's
mean-
gone undefeated for so long on his own.
Oh, absolutely. People go down there and try to punch him, they break the hands. I don't know how they got a hold of this guy, but I mean, he is the influence. They say, hey, you can win a bunch of money if you just kill this guy, beat him in the ring, and bada bing, bada boom. They die. And then they spend money to fight, and then they make more money. Golden
Is he
Coppers,
the
baby.
reason? Is he the reason the Gilded Coppers came out on top of whatever war was going on between them and, I guess, other groups?
Oh, he definitely helped. I gotta say, it's kind of fun watching that thing fight. He walks into a room, and then people pull out their swords and their knives, and they hit him, and they break, and then he breaks them.
But this is a fist fight, right? You don't use weapons in this.
The rules are you use what the gods gave you.
Well, he is quite godly gifted, but if it's just fisticuffs, you see like her attention just sort of shift and then just sort of stare into you, Javen. I mean, there's a lot of potential here.
I really don't think it's a good idea. We supposed to be
We're supposed to help.
not getting spotted, right? We go in and start messing with copper sort of prize fight. It sounds like,
Yeah.
even if we win.
we were-
I mean, especially if we
supposed to
win.
lay low.
Especially. That's not laying
And-
low.
And doing something like this, even if he wins or loses, we would get a lot of attention, especially
He
if he
certainly
wins.
If
would.
he wins, they'll want to know who he is, where is he from, what does he do.
That would do the
Who are
exact
his
opposite
friends?
of what we're trying to do.
Who does he love and care about?
Well, I mean, that's obvious. Look at his chest and his back.
I mean, so it just sounds like he just needs. I mean, he already has the panache to perhaps pull off a persona. It's not that difficult.
What the?
Samantha,
What?
just drop it. It's not going to happen. Not now. Maybe at some point. When the leads are coming in heavy and she allows us to do more risky
Well,
things.
Samantha did also say that we were just going to talk to Jody, so this isn't going to happen until we get back to Oakwell.
Exactly. Of course. Until we get back
But
to
if there was
Elfwell.
There were some rules or something in place, so I don't end up getting my head squished in.
No, I'm pretty sure you just.
I've been in some
about-
brawls for some money before, so it's not like I haven't done that.
Yep, afraid not, buddy.
No, I think it's
This
a
is underground.
blood. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's one
don't
of
really
those
like the-
things.
I don't really like the sound of that.
Have people fought with
Yeah.
magic before?
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. Some people try to do flashy stuff, but it doesn't always seem to work. Usually by the time they're trying to wave their hands around and say some of that mumbo jumbo, they just get head smashed in. And the jaw breaks, and then when you break your jaw, you know, all that flashy flash don't mean nothing.
Jaws of glass.
I wonder.
But if that's not your thing, then whatever. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. A lot of money.
Lots of money.
I'm sure I could take
Yeah.
them.
Well, I'm sure you could. I mean, I've seen what you can do.
Look,
So
If
other
we-
than that,
this sounds like he's some muscle for some bad folk, and if we could do it clean, if we had a plan or something to actually, put a hurting on these folks and not put a target on their back, then I don't know, I'd give it a shot. As long as there's a way to get the hell out if it starts turning bad. Because look, I'd much rather be thought of as a wimp in some underground fighting ring than getting my head squished in.
Gregory, have you been listening to all this conversation?
Yeah,
There ain't no going back.
I mean, y'all got magic and stuff, right? I could probably pry my way out of a gate if I gave enough time. And I don't think we should do it now. I think you're all right on that. Just, if we know where he is, I just don't like the idea of us telling people back in Oakwell where these fellas is, and then somebody else looking for more money going in and getting themselves hurt because we told them where they.
Or even worse, they
Oh, I
we're
mean,
not
when
gonna
you put it like
babysit.
that.
even worse, they go in there and win.
Oh, I doubt they.
Beat him, then right.
Great, that's 10,000 gold we don't have.
Yeah, it's a lot of money at your saloon. Thank you. But that's not my business. Other thing I gotta talk to you about, because apparently, as much as you want to keep me out of the loop, fellas, I'm gonna be in the loop for a while. Seems,
Oh, yeah.
pulls up his cloak. Little Miss Jody needs a little bit of little rat to start singing to her. Little someone to help you guys find some work, it seems.
Oh, you
Seems
know
that I'm just
Jody?
the rat. Of course! We talked a long time ago. She did not like me at all.
I can
But I
see
know
that.
things.
I'm really the liaison between.
Oh, well.
I mean,
alright.
Yeah, you
I
see
mean
this
that
scar right here?
100%.
This is when I went up to Oakwell to go talk to her. She apparently didn't like my disguise. I said it was a little offensive. Thought like looking like her dad would be a good idea. Didn't work. Got a knife right here.
That was a good idea!
You should look like their father. Girls like their fathers.
Was that
No,
before or
Not
after
Come
you
with
all
died?
them.
of them.
Not all of
I
them.
don't know. Been like a lot of years. I'm like 180.
It's the
What do you
thought that
expect of me?
counts. It's okay.
But you've
It's
been
the
But
thought that
anyway,
counts.
useful
at
to
any
her in
rate-
the past.
Of course. Well,
Yeah.
usually she tries to get through me, and then I kind of let her to the coffers, and then she used the coffers instead of me. So I kind of got left on the side. But you know, whenever she doesn't want the coffers, she comes to old Gib, crawling back to old Gib as usual. And
Oh,
look what
there
she
you
is
go.
now.
Don't worry, I
alright.
compensate him for his troubles. It's fine. Like that last time, right? As I sort of nudge him with my leg because I can't do that
Yeah.
with my elbow.
Catch me.
But all this, plan's still the same, right? We heading up north, then we come back around here. I mean, Gib, if you gonna be in town, you wanna look into this, the hunk some.
Yeah, certainly. And I guess if I'm gonna be an informant, I guess I could find you guys some work if you're looking for something.
I would
That would be
prioritize that. We definitely need it.
Yeah, we need some coin that won't get us into trouble with nobody.
Hmm.
We'll take wet work if need be as well. Whatever the
Okay,
case may
so no trouble. I got like 15 things off the top of my head. I'm a guy who knows things. How good are you guys about feeling about like killing people that you don't know?
Mm-mm.
killing people? People? Do you mean monsters? Or do you mean...
we
Like
sort
people.
Well,
we're
what's the
more on the
price?
good spectrum.
I don't know. It just depends. No killing. No killing people. No.
Are they raping and pillaging villages?
I mean, they're just kind of like sitting and probably eating food and drinking coffee in the morning.
Yeah, no.
No.
Do they
Next.
spend,
Okay, so then I
do
got,
they
like,
spend
I
their
know-
nights
now,
hurting people though? Like that's potentially.
I don't know. People want them dead. They pay good money for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
we
we-
understand what the contract is. No.
Okay, so then I
Murder
don't have
is
15
for
things.
hire.
I have like 3 things then.
Okay. We're more on the we're babies.
Okay,
Remember.
little baby steps for the babies, I suppose.
Well,
Well,
I mean, in like you know what I mean.
so we're talking Jody cash, right? Like this isn't just like little baby steps going in, getting some money, getting head pats, and eating for a few days. This is like good
She
stuff,
needs to be
right?
happy
Big
with it,
Kahuna
yes.
messing
Oh, that goes
messing
never
with the
happen.
black.
Well,
whatever
if
the name is.
if you're not really willing to go punch Hunk to death, I got a couple other things. I know there's no price on it, but much of them fucking dwarves up north in the district got sick recently. They're working with some adamantine, and they're getting
Adamantine.
good old adamantine poisoning. Fucking idiots!
It'll
Who
get
work with
ya.
adamantine get you sick.
Yeah.
But supposedly a bunch of them folk from I don't know, someone up in that old well place is supposed to be sending down some medicine, but they ain't getting no fucking medicine. I don't know what's happened up there. Maybe nothing's moving. But at any rate, I'm sure if they got the medicine, they'd probably be pretty grateful if you show a little bit of class, maybe twist an arm or two.
That can be
Might
done.
pay you some good money. Well, there you go.
Yeah, that sounds potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like the first time we haven't solved the disease problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, so the experts on that is born.
Well, look at that. Couple of bona fide physicians. Aren't you guys so smart?
Yeah, something like that.
What could make Jody happy? What could make Jody happy? Well, I mean, it's a long shot, but there's something out there that might wet that gal's whistle. Over in Azula, there's that museum where they keep all them artifacts. Like for the last year, they've been missing one of them. Someone came and fucking stole them. Probably one of those snake people. But it's been gone for a while, and I mean, they'd be really fucking happy to get it back, willing to compensate a lot of money for its worth.
What kind of artifact?
I don't remember. It's been a long time. It was one of them tiara crown. It was a crown made out of elf silver.
A crown?
Hell.
Well,
Wait.
yeah.
Wait, Elven Silver.
What were we missing from that again?
Oh,
You don't
good.
mean Mithril.
Well, yeah, Mithril. That's what it's fucking called. Shit that
Yes,
don't
it
poison
was.
you when you work with it.
It was a sword, and then
A
what's
Mithril
Marginally.
crown.
we can
Interesting.
look into that. We can think about that.
I mean, that shit's worth thousands and thousands and thousands. I mean, that shit's gotta be at least worth like 50,000 gold.
It would depend on who created it. Certain.
I think it came from the fucking sands or whatever. Them snake people made it. And I'm pretty sure the snake people stole it back after they moved up to Azula.
They stole it from the museum in Azula.
Yeah.
Is that what most people think? The snake people took it?
Well, apparently it was made. I don't fucking know. Apparently it's important to snake people.
They're
And snake people are either not really up to good things. Oh yeah, Wampi or whatever they're fucking called.
Yawn tea.
Yeah, they're all over that district, but don't you worry, old Gib can sniff them out. I know a Yanti when I see one.
I mean, you been hearing anything? Seemed like news I really got here, but you been hearing anything about hobgoblins and things? And the
Oh yeah, everyone's talking about them black fairies or whatever they're fucking called. They're not really doing anything here, so no one really gives a shit. Coffers try to look into it, but I don't think they got anywhere with it. Probably because of all them people looking for it, you know?
True.
Alright, so what have we got? Some sick dwarves dealing with adamantine poisoning. Perhaps maybe we can leave ourselves to some adamantine while we're at it. And a missing crown from the sands. That is very interesting. along with, well, whatever might turn up with dealing with Hunk, we're looking up and making some pretty good money. I think this will work out.
I mean, if you don't want to just go kill random people, yeah, like mortals.
Well,
kids.
Gib,
We have morals.
Gib, let's just a second.
Samantha.
Look, a random person. Let's like cut Samantha's head off.
As you do.
You said you had 3 possible jobs.
Good. So is it settled? We go to Garen's Well and come back and do these things.
Yeah, I mean, if,
Yes. So it depends on how long it takes us in Garen's Well, because I do want to get back to Nina. At
yeah.
least have her brother on her birthday.
Is her birthday like next week or something?
In the beginning of
Oh, no,
November. Yeah, if we can get back in a month, we'd be good. And y'all don't need to worry about that too much. I mean, I'd like to be back by then.
Don't worry, I won't purchase her anything.
Uh,
It's for family to do.
I appreciate that, Quill. I guess. Alright, so we heading up north, trying to try to figure out what's going on with them shipments. The crown, what, in the south though, from the snake folk? Where's
Auntie.
Azula?
It's the south district of this place.
Oh hell! All right. Maybe we hit that on the way back.
The west district. Yeah. That's where we're at right now. Yeah, it's okay.
West Virginia.
Mostly just eating people, but they're doing all right.
Oh, we're the rich people.
Does not
so-
correspond to the picture on the screen.
I know.
So this is Snake Land. This is Nocturnal Death Village. Then Dwarves on the
This
other
is
side,
south.
and this is where
This
we are.
is north. This is west.
Well, no, this can't be south because this is where we met Alan. That's the Nocturne District. We went through the Snake District to get to the Nocturne District.
The-
so this
The
should be
one with
south.
all the green roofs, although I guess this is blue, was supposed to
Yeah.
be the one where.
But
This is west.
where are
that's
the rich
south.
people?
That's north.
Rich
Like-
people,
Yeah, power, money, influence. Are they up top, some up here or something?
they're at the top. They're in Crimson Wall.
Crim-
They ain't north, south, east, or west. They the top.
Okay, perfect. So that'll be okay. Is it hard to get into Crimson Wall or anything like that?
No, not really. Just to make sure you have enough money to stay there. Mostly just banks and churches and a lot of good taverns there, a lot of good inns, but
Good.
not for rich people.
Yeah, I see. Perfect. That is where I'll do. I'll take care of that there then. All right.
Alright.
Seems like we've
Heading up north, try to figure out the shipments, come on back, try to figure out the crown, and maybe Hunk, if it seems doable. I just don't want to put a target on the backs if something happens. And then, and head on back home, yeah?
I mean, yes, after Garen's Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the going up north.
Yeah, I think we should leave Hunk well enough alone. Talk to Jody about it. See if the coin interests her enough or not, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I think these jobs should take care of what we owe, so to speak.
Well, it's getting late, y'all. I mean, the food here is alright. I had a couple snacks. Probably have dinner here.
It's okay, we eat on the way back.
Oh.
We found some
Alright.
amazing
Oh, we
fruit.
did?
Yes, we did.
It's a
I
giant
said you
axe
did
beak
that.
leg.
Yep.
Cooked on the street.
Yeah, Samantha, remember that small child that you walked past?
myself in my room.
It's okay. You can order.
Go away, Gregory,
You
no
can
one
order
likes
like
you.
a pay-per-view movie in your hotel room. We promise we won't judge what you
Yeah.
order.
Oh, I'll judge.
That's weird. You're weird.
Okay.
As I'm
Is
just gonna
everyone
leave out of the
retired?
room and go downstairs and maybe grab a nice drink, grab a nice bottle of wine or whatever I can find down there, and wait.
Sure. Be able to get some nice swallowtail wine while you're here, and yourself a nice glass. I guess a bottle if you're buying the full bottle. Gonna cost you about. Here it's about 100 gold pieces.
100 gold pieces here? Yeah, I'll take a glass. It's fine. I don't need that much fucking wine.
You bought a whole bottle of that wine that Jody gets special.
Yeah. And I'm just waiting for Gib.
Okay. Glass would be like 2 gold pieces.
Yeah. What's Gilb thinking? Or now that we've broken up, does he want to stay around with us, or is he gonna head on his merry way?
People want to talk to him. He's gonna talk, but he feels kind of antsy sitting around one place for too long. He actually kind of mentions to you guys. He's gonna be working on trying to find a way to get in contact with Jody without getting in anyone else's business. But he has a plan. Involves some nice little friends of his. But other than that, if you want to talk to him, Gib would be willing to sit down and talk with you, Samantha.
Gib, good. I'm glad to catch you on the way out. You mentioned a bit of interesting jobs you had in mind as well. Any of those pay well?
Yeah, pay pretty well. When someone really wants someone dead, they want to pay whatever they can. Usually, like the least amount that someone's ever put down for someone's life is about 100 gold. Why you looking to get some coin, fill out them pockets a bit more?
Something like that, yes. Always need a bit more.
All right.
We should be coming back through in a bit. Do you have anything you know of at the top of your mind? Of course, avoiding,
Well, there was this guy who comes into town sometimes. I don't remember which side he comes in at, but apparently he's an outsider, and people don't really like his attitude. I think he comes across the wrong way, or maybe he's been twisting someone's arm or taking too much gold or something. I don't know, some dude from southern part of town, southern part of the world, I guess. One of them hilly places, little towns down there. What's it called? Sarabin. There's some fucking elf hanging around who people kind of want to not be there anymore. Apparently someone in the bar he goes to often just hates the fact that he comes in and uses magic and laughs at people and doesn't really buy drinks himself.
You know what the price on his head is?
I think it's like 500 gold or something.
Must have pissed off the wrong person.
Yeah. I can find some other ones, but I have to go digging around. Don't have a whole list of names for, not a good thing to keep on you. If someone bumps into you and all your notes spill out everywhere, and it's like, oh, praise people with
making
names.
deliveries, of course.
Yeah.
No, I understand, Gib. I understand. What's your going rate for information?
I mean, if you want me to send a message or give you a message, I gotta charge like 2 gold pieces at the very least. At the very least, if you're in town, I'll charge you 2 gold pieces. If you're out of town, Oakwell, I gotta charge you 10. But Jody doesn't like me.
So I'll count out 10 gold pieces. See what you can dig up for me in this particular line of work, alright?
I likes the ways you thinks, Samantha. I likes the ways you thinks.
He takes the gold over and sticks into his grubby pockets.
Alright. Well, it was a good chat to have with you. And I'll be, hearing from you on our way back.
Oh, you certainly will be. He'll be at me for a while. Oh, boy.
He's rubbing his hands together. You hear the jingling of the coins in his pockets as he's a pretty happy gnome right now. Is there anything else you guys want to do for the night? Otherwise, retire for the evening. Continue on your way.
Yeah, Persephone isn't doing anything important. She's just pacing in her room and writing letters and crumbling them up because they're not right, and it takes her a little while longer to get to sleep than usual. That's it.
Alrighty. As you guys come to the next morning, Gibbs seems to have used some recent coin to buy himself a room here. Seems like late night went on a little longer than he did, and maybe with some coin in his pocket, a couple of bottles and cups next to his bedside, found himself crashing here for the evening, and everyone gets up, has a pretty decent sleep. You wake up to the sounds of bird songs inside of this tavern, and it's a little bit relaxing. Kind of reminds you of home. You guys are already sort of close to nature back in Oakwell, so it's not too uncommon. Just get to hear the sounds of songbirds from a whole nother place. I guess it's a bit nostalgic for you, at least, Persephone. Waking up to the sound of elven birds singing. But yeah, other than that, the morning comes to you guys, and seems like Gibbs actually still there with you, sort of nursing a hangover, but seems like he's kind of eager to get things going on his own end.
You guys want to get north of Garensville, he said?
Yeah, that's the direction we're going.
Okay, yeah, I can help you get there. Yeah, I can help you find a place without getting too much trouble. It's a little tricky going. You're gonna be walking all around the district in this time in the morning. I might run into some of the coffers doing about their business, so I'll get you to lay your heads low for a bit.
Aren't we just going to leave the city and walk around?
You're leaving the city? That's a whole lot easier than I had planned.
Yeah, I think it's better we just go to the outskirts.
Yeah, I hear it's faster that way anyway. Plus it'll be easy to get the horses around.
I guess so. You're still walking. Okay. Walking around the city. Well, good luck to you, and you guys better come back. I need some fucking money.
That's the plan.
Get
Gib,
up later.
Pleasure. Thanks for helping us out and all this. You didn't have to do that. Hope to see you again.
For this.
Extend a hand out to him.
What did you say your last name was again?
Jameson.
Well, they sound the same as he just reaches out and takes your hand, gives a very soft sort of shake, a little stronger than you'd expect for a tiny man, but he does look like sort of an old man, and old people always have old people strength.
Has a little bit of light, just starts to leak out between our fingers. And you really shouldn't drink so damn much, Gib. As I give him 5 little points of health to try to wash away a little bit of sickness.
A little lay on hands.
Lay on hands.
Yeah, immediately see some of his hair sort of stand up on end, and his eyes widen. Whoa!
Ooh! That's some good shit you got there.
That's all I can do for you right now, but you keep safe.
Okay. And with that, Gibb sort of waves you goodbye, and as you guys walk out, he walks out of the inn as well, and sort of makes his way down, basically off into one of the alleyways, and quickly disappears. As you guys saddle up your horses and begin to make your way down, basically to the west outside of the city. Sort of walking through some of the thoroughfares, the walkways. You're moving out of down these long walkways, away from the actual like elven side of things, where nature seems to be taking over, and now instead you see like back to the cobblestone, back to the more urban Mobian districts you're used to seeing, and things are pretty nice. But as you guys are walking along, getting closer and closer to the gate, as you guys have quite some distance in the way, you do notice some strange goings-ons. You notice some interesting looking individuals sort of standing along the streets, some of them walking in and out of buildings. They're quite well dressed, almost like the guards in the town themselves. They wear leathers with these strange steel plates on them. On their wrists, between their elbows and their wrists, are these like big metallic cylinders of sorts, like big bracers, but they look like they're a lot thicker and heavier than bracers should be. And of course, as some of you guys get a little close, keeping your eyes a bit averted, you do notice, especially Luna with your high passive perception, the glint of gold pinned to their chests as these men sort of wandering around talking to some of the stall owners, some of the people who work here. And as you guys are making your way carefully down one of the streets, you do hear a sound. The sounds of boots and leather scraping against stone, and the sounds of crying, and the sounds of roughhousing as you guys make your way down this walkway, and you come across a site. You see this sort of opening in the market district where it sort of like comes to a crossways before you come to the actual gate. Sort of a place where the shops themselves are sort of spaced, and between them are just these individual little stands, little wagons of sorts, like looks like small-time traders, and a lot of wares seem to be spilled across the ground. You see broken crates and charred pieces of wood. You see a bunch of these roughhousing-looking men sort of pointing things at some of these individuals who seem to be cowering and their backs pressed to the wall. Others seem to be holding them by their shoulders and growling at them, as it looks like some of these thugs are just cornering and intimidating some of these shopkeepers, and you can hear them talking over some of the other clatter and clamor of the town.
You see us here? This is a fucking mess you made. We're paying you good money to sell these wares. We're paying you good money to represent our beautiful family, and look, you're leaving it in a state of duress. Now, what do you think the rest of us is going to think if they come across walking here thinking you're leaving a mess? Because I tell you, family don't like messes.
And you can see this large man, sort of wide set, not much of a chin to him, just more of a beard and long hair, just being held by the lapels pressed against his own stand. I'm sorry, we're just getting started early in the morning, and our wagon broke down and things spilled out, and he gets pushed to the wall.
Yeah, I understand. Mistakes happen, you know? Lots of mistakes happen. And you just see
How
him.
far away? How far
You guys
away
are about...
How many?
I'll just show you. You guys are about 30 feet away as you get to this point, as you see what looks like a scene of some strange duress, as these, somewhat nicely armored and well-groomed individuals, clad in leather, are sort of throwing around and tossing these poor workers.
Oh, that's a lot of them.
It looks like about almost a dozen.
Which way is the city gates again?
Basically, you guys are walking down here. This is heading west.
So
It's
we
not
gotta go this way and then this way.
You gotta go around some way. There's different roads that lead to it. You just gotta kind of go around it.
Okay.
As you see these men, clearly marked as some sort of thugs, are assailing these people. You do see a couple of them standing close to the road, somewhat in the way. They're not quite looking your direction. They're sort of watching the other ways. And it is sort of noticeable around. There aren't anyone else out in the streets right now. The doors are shut. The windows are bolstered. And you don't see any of those nice-looking guards standing on end. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna put this new ring of mine up to my mouth and go, Don't get baited into this. This will
Close
cause
right.
trouble.
Can't really get involved. Just keep walking. Pay no attention. Just look away. I know, Persephone, I'm really sorry. But
I'm sorry, Gregory.
Here's the thing to keep in mind. Even if we were to stop this, there's almost definitely 10, maybe 20 more scenes just like this somewhere else in the city. All you'd be doing is jeopardizing everything.
Yeah.
As I smash the vote to skip button.
Yeah.
so, as we will walk around this corner, I will attempt to get around the closest, at this point before we turn to where I'm 30 feet within this guy's range, and
Cast Fireball.
using subtle cast to get rid of any verbal component, I will try to implant the idea into his mind to just let the guy go this once, leave him alone. As I will subtle cast suggestion.
All right. Let's see.
Are we supposed to be going the other way?
It's either way.
You guys can go either way.
Yeah. It's like a market in the middle of
we're gonna
a
go right
circle.
through here, right? Yeah.
As you're making your way around, you do look at the sky. Maybe your eyes maybe just become a bit more intense for just a moment as you conjure very stealthy, shadowy magic to hide the movement of your hands, the sound of your voice. It is simply a thought you are sending out into his head as, let's see. Ooh. As suddenly, he's talking to this man, you see him sort of stop in the middle of a sentence, and I'm telling you, but... Ugh. Sort of shoves him back against the wall, lets him go.
I'll let you off with a warning this time, man. But let me tell you, mate. You mess up again. We don't like things messy. You're gonna make one, we're gonna make one too. That's what a family's all about. We make our messes together. And if you forget, he steps forward and he sort of looks like he sticks his fist out towards him, but he's quite a ways away, like at least a couple feet. And as he does, you hear this strange rattling sound, Luna, as you're being the closest. Then you hear as this bracer on his arm seems to open up, and this 7-inch blade, actually 10-inch blade, slides out from behind his wrist and sort of points right up this guy's throat. It'll get really messy. All right, boys. Let's go get some breakfast. Scrambled eggs? Scrambled eggs. Yeah, scrambled eggs. As they seem to pull away from this scene, the ones you're passing by seem to keep their arms crossed. You see one you're closest to him, Quill, looks up to you. How's it going, mate? Do you say anything?
I'm just gonna in Elvish, and kind of just dumbfounded, like, what's a do? What's a do?
Ah, fucking hell.
He just turns his back to you guys. And now that he's seeing the scene starting to clear up, sort of joins the rest of his allies as they start to gather up around this place. Some of the people picking themselves off the ground. You can now see passing by them. Some of the people sort of cornered in the back. These men are holding small devices. They look like cannon crossbows pointed at them as they sort of holster them back at their side. And they move on about their business. As without fault, without raising any alarms, you guys make your way through peacefully. Thanks.
Thank the gods.
You guys managed to walk out of here without any bloodshed or painting a target on your back.
Alright, I jump into a telephone booth, put my cape on. I'm at.
Yeah, just let me cast Seeming first. Once I cast Seeming, we'll be good.
As you guys eventually make your way to the final gates of this city. Again, this time, now you get closer to the edge, you can see some of the guards actually, or at least being called them guards, returning to their stations and giving you like sort of nodding passes. They don't really seem to care about anyone passing through here. You guys make your way down to the southern part of the city and begin to make your way around. It takes a little bit of time because this city is relatively large. It's dense as well, which makes it so hard to pass, but fortunately, just going around on horseback sort of makes it a bit faster. So it takes some time as by the time you reach the other side of the city, it's now like late afternoon. And it seems like you're finally finding the road leading to the northern, between the northern and the western side, heading up towards where you expect Garenswell to be. Is there anything else you guys want to do on the road while you're traveling? Because it will take you about, let's see, it's evening here, it's late afternoon, third back.
I don't remember what our travel rules now are.
Are you guys going, you're traveling on the road, are you guys going quick? Because you can travel quickly on the road with no detriment if you're just taking the road.
Are there any notable towns along the way?
Yeah, like, are there any places to stop along the way?
There are a couple hamlets, mostly just nomadic villages, just people trying to find a good settlement here. It's a little hard to find any here in this area, considering that you guys are now passing through the territory, not of the New Frontier, but of the King's Land, where things are a little more dangerous in the King's Land. It's where orcs and ogres and others, supposedly of giant descent, actually reside. So, not a lot of villages like to settle there, at least for long, because that's how they get raided and destroyed.
Probably so giddy up on it, but if we see anybody, we should probably at least ask about if any shipments were coming by. See how far they got.
Yeah, that would be really the only thing to keep an eye out would be the medicine for the dwarves.
Okay. As you guys make your way north,
basically going fast.
Going faster? Yeah, again, the road is open enough and spread out enough so that even if you're going fast on horseback, you're not going to really lose anything in terms of perception because everything's the open road. There's no difficult territory or obstacles in your way. So you guys can make it pretty fast. You think if you're looking at your map right, you can probably make it there in just about 3 days or so. Although you're traveling right now currently in the middle of the late afternoon, so you'll probably get there by, like, essentially the end of the 4th day.
Which would be... where's my calendar? There it is.
You guys woke up on the morning of October 1st.
October 1st.
It is now the mid-afternoon, getting on late to evening October 1st, and then it'll take just over 3 days, just like slightly over. So basically, you get there by October. Yeah, I'd say about October 5th total.
5th, okay.
Because you're basically a day and a half. You're over halfway through the 1st. It's going to take 3 days. Actually, no, maybe 4th.
Yeah, we get there like halfway through the 4th.
Yeah. All right.
During travel, Persephone's going to put a conjure animal spell into her stone of reserve and spend an hour each night that we're resting to do some craftables. A couple of the 1 hour ones like Brent Ash, Lycanpoultice, Cauldron.
Okay.
I also take some time to teach you the basics of Giant.
Yes. Yes.
Now,
Yeah, and I'm reading my book each night.
Nice.
And on the travels, Persephone, when she's not learning Giant or crafting, she's scribbling a lot. There's a lot of scribbling and scratching out and ripping pages. And usually nighttime is she's mellow and relaxed. And she looks like something hits her. Like as soon as we're done traveling, she doesn't have to focus on anything. It's like something's on her mind.
As she's doing that, like, I'm trying to meditate, and I'm just like, Persephone, what are you doing?
I'm writing letters home.
But why are you just write from the heart? You don't need to scratch every other word out. Do you need me to proofread them?
No, I'll be fine. I'll write from the heart then.
Good. Wait, did you get your brother a gift?
What?
Did you get your brother a gift?
Why would I need to get my brother a gift?
We talked about it. From your visit in Crossway, you were going to get your brother a gift because you always wanted to travel there with him.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Go yourself some DM inspiration.
Wait, did you forget to get him something?
No, I'll get something on the way back.
Good.
Not gonna lie, they had us on the first half.
I got her!
At least once a day, I'm going to take out my Seeker's Tome and ask the tome, is this a good idea to go back to Garen's Well until I get an answer? Just once per day, so I don't incur the wrath of the underworld.
Okay.
Definition of good.
Did we get ice cream? That's good.
That's pretty good. Where are you at? Okay, roll me a d20. And you're doing that every day for your travel?
Yeah, just the last 4 days.
Okay, so do 3 more. Mm-hmm. Yep, you're writing in your tome, and every so often the words seem to fade a little bit. Maybe the ink just seems to be getting old, and then eventually they vanish. But every time you ask, it seems like there's no answer. Maybe it's just bad luck. Maybe it's just tome is staying silent. Kind of hard to tell. But along your travel, as you are writing, trying to frantically figure this out, you do sort of experience something strange, at least for a while. When you first start to travel along here, you're getting through the King's Land, you guys are looking for information, but not a lot of villages are passing through here. Not a lot of people are answering you, and you're just sort of left lost and with your thoughts. And of course, at night, when you're lost with your thoughts and you let yourself find rest, your mind begins to wander. It wanders to a dark, dank little town to the north that you've been thinking of for quite some time. It's a place where, supposedly, they say there's something supernatural about it, Garenswell. They say that some sort of ill omen fell upon it long ago because the clouds always hang overhead. Part of the reason why is Garenswell, not only named after its founder, but because within the thin walls of this settlement, almost weekly, these clouds cry upon this town and fill it with water, almost like a well. And your mind wanders back to a previous time when you weren't of white hair, you weren't hiding your appearance, you were lost, but you were found somewhere. A time when you found yourself, at least somewhere you could call a home, a place where you had a name. You remember a large and looming clock tower, sort of centering in the middle of this town as you walk into it. You're not you, Luna, at least not the way you are now. You are small, waist high or so. You've just been left here, and you don't know how or why. You have a note crumpled in your hand, written by people you don't remember. But they have to be important to you. And you're lost, and you're wet, and you're cold, and you're confused. And the people of this town don't really pay you too much mind. Children often wander around Garenswell, and they are often pretty pitiful, and usually they have a home to return to, but, well, not you. You're all alone. At least until in the darkest part of the night, when the clouds grew thickest, and all that really could be seen is like this soft, piercing blade of moonlight casting upon this town, you met someone. A young and handsome man who really, as you got to know him throughout the years, never really changed. He was always soft-spoken, and he was always kind. But overall, he was probably, in all of your life, the closest father, at least father figure you can even call. Second. There you are. Bang up.
Oh yes,
As
bridge, I see.
You met a young man, quite handsome in his state, long raven hair flowing down to his shoulders, much like you. Pair of bright crimson eyes that, even though they seemed piercing at first, there was this aura of kindness that came from him, a soft-spoken voice. As you met a relatively, at the time, esteemed physician known as Eric Gelner, a man whose name you ended up taking. And years passed. You were just a child at the time, and you became a teenager, and you weren't alone anymore. You had Eric. He was always there for you, always kind and gentle. He often asked things of you, things that were at first strange, but became accustomed to them. He is a physician, and as such, his research is needed in this. And so, one thing he would often require, something that you found a bit of familiarity with during your time in those giant ruins, was the needle in your arm. Eric Gelner often took some blood. He said that it was the life force of all things, and it could be basically used to help bring life into things that have fallen. And among you, it wasn't just you, it was other children. He took care of these people, took care of these other orphans, took them in under his wing, a kind man who always had time for the people who needed him. And it was the closest thing you ever had to a true family. And it was always funny because Eric Gelner always liked to leave little treats, little trinkets, things to show his affection for you, his first and really his most precious of children. He would wander through his garden, this beautiful garden of red and white roses behind his workshop, behind his laboratory. And oftentimes you'd be wandering around and, you'd find like a coin Or you'd find like a piece of jewelry hiding among the garden, and you knew it was from him because that's always what he did. He always surprised you. And more you'd find more of these trinkets, more toys and baubles, things just showing his affection. And then one day, you didn't find one. So you looked. You figured he was probably testing you. You always had a sharp eye since you were a kid, always looking out for anything that could help you in these situations. So you looked around deeper. Past the beds of flowers, past the leaves, and you found something in the ground. You thought it was a root, something shouldn't be growing there, so you pulled upon it, you dug away at it. Maybe this was part of his trick. Maybe this was what he was hiding, and then it didn't look like anything Trinket would. So you dug deeper, dug further into the ground, and you found a wrist, gnarled and twisted, devoid of life, this tiny, emaciated form. And you didn't know what to think. You didn't know what to say, you didn't know what to do. So you just tried to get rid of it, and then you found more, and more, and more, and there's always so many children in Garrens. Well, nobody pays them any mind except for Eric Gellner. Nobody notices whether they're here or they're there. And you found dozens of them. Tiny, shriveled bodies buried beneath the flower bed. And when you finally came to terms with what you found, your mind just trying to race and wrap around why this is. Why is this in his garden? Why is this in your dad's garden? You heard his voice. You remember that night the moon was on clear view. The sky had opened just enough, parting the rain to really shine a spotlight on this gloomy town. It was Eric. He often spent his days inside of his laboratory working and studying, only really coming out when the rains would part at night. And he saw your face, and he saw what you found. And despite everything, what you were thinking, what could have been, what is, he wasn't angry. He wasn't hostile. He was calm. He called to you. And that's when it all came out. You always had this sort of chill following wherever you went. Whenever you were alone, that's why you never wanted to be alone, Luna's, because you'd hear the sounds of whisperings in your ear. You'd hear the soft calling of these things that have been chasing you since you've been alone. You felt something different. It wasn't cold. It was hot. And it roiled. And it basically lingered into your hands. And what is normally this deathly shadow became this black, coursing flame. And you threw it at him. And he burned. And even when he burned, Luna, Eric Gellner did not cry out. He did not curse your name. He did not lash out at you at all. He just continued telling you to calm down, to please calm down. It will be okay. And you almost believed it. And then he collapsed. And he burned until nothing remained. He burned under these black fire that spread throughout his garden until all but just silvery smoke rose from the remains. And Eric Gellner was no more. And with everything gone, the rain now returning, but doing little to quench the fire. No one else around. No one else to explain this to. Your words caught in your throat, choking on them. You turned and you ran. And you ran into the shadows. And you run into them now. You're back in this memory, running and running and running until you hit something. You hit someone. As you've been watching all of this, whether you realize it or not, Persephone. Standing on the edge of this shadow, watching this scene unfold until this tiny, dark-haired girl, confused and scared, runs into your arms.
I instinctively I hug her because she looks like she needs a hug, and I'm just staring at the scenes, horrified. And what does her face look like? What does she do?
What does she do, Luna?
So let me get this. Alright, so do I
You're welcome.
remember running into someone?
No, this is the moment where things start to shake and the world around you kind of starts to unravel. It's the moment you realize like this is a memory. You're not living this right now. This is something this is a dream. This is a nightmare. This is the same nightmare that you've had from several times ago when you try to keep this place out of your mind, when you've tried to forget about it. This is what happens when you remember. You remember that terrible night, what you ran into. But this time, it's different because it's Persephone's here. You don't dream of Persephone.
So Luna will just kind of
Roll in.
Thanks, Nick. So Luna will take a step back and look up at Persephone's face and just can't really speak, but you can see the words trying to escape her mouth. She just says,
Okay, calm down.
Help me.
Calm down.
Persephone nods and she takes little Luna by the hand, and we're gonna look for a way out of town.
Take her by the hand and you turn and you don't see anything at all, Persephone. You see the town behind you now sort of falling apart. You can see this encroaching shadow taking over the clouds. The clock tower things are twisting and you still see that burning smoke rising. But off distance around, you just see darkness, except for this soft little blip of light. You see like it begins off silver, but then as you look at it with your dark vision, begin to make more sense of it. It's almost green. And you can hear the sounds of birds and the whisper of wind beneath leaves. It seems like it's sure a better place than where you are now.
I take little Luna to greener pastures. What?
As you walk on through the darkness, you hear the sounds of nature sort of taking over you for a moment. Becomes louder and more serene, and you actually find yourself walking out into this open grove. Not quite a forest, just more of an enclave where you found peace before, a garden of your own. As you walk out with a small Luna in hand into Oakwell before everything just seems to go white. And you guys wake up.
Oh my God.
What?
I just sit up and I look at Luna.
Luna's just looking away from you. Trying not to.
I'm back.
Not sure what the fuck just happened and why Persephone's in my dreams. That's disgusting. I don't like that.
I just have a lot on my mind. Just a dream.
Well, I hope you get plenty of rest.
Is it still night, or was this like waking up in the morning?
This is like in the middle of the night, and you can see in the sky around you there is not a single cloud. Stars are far and few. There's just a full moon shining straight down.
I'm gonna scooch on closer to Luna. Hey, I just want you to know I don't do that on purpose. It just kind of happens now.
It just kind of happens now.
Yeah. Since Thistle and Marjorie.
Luna will finally turn around and look at Persephone, and you can tell that her eyes are kind of bloodshot. Then fix it. And she'll lay back down and go back to bed.
Interesting.
Samantha just sitting there holding her book.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here with like 12 pairs of eyes, never asleep, always watching everything. Yeah, interesting, very interesting.
Samantha, roll me an Arcana.
Okie dokie. Yeah.
I can't eat anymore, remember, sir.
Oh god, not the spiders. Oh god, there's so many spiders.
Everybody just has so many terrible dreams. I'm glad I'm not watching them right now.
You should be really glad that
Oh
I
no,
don't sleep.
they're in the alcohol. Why?
I actually wish you did sleep.
Whose idea was this?
As otherwise, the rest of the night would pass. Some of you managed to get some sleep, maybe a bit haggard, but sleep still reaches you. You guys continue along your travel. Eventually, you make it back to the territory that is the New Frontier, and you do find a couple of villages. You guys, looks like one of them is just a small human and dwarven enclave. It's like a small hill where it looks like they burrowed into the land itself and have been mining out at least traces of what they think to be silver, but doesn't. Maybe it's possibly some sort of other metal. But you guys sort of stop by, maybe take a rest there, actually get a bed underneath you, and ask about the medicine.
Yar.
Yeah, they don't really seem to know anything about it. They've heard that there's possibly some sick people somewhere in Crossway, but they don't really know. They haven't seen anything or heard anything passing down. If there's probably something in Garen's Well that's supposed to get there, it at least hasn't left yet.
It was from a physician in Garen's Well, wasn't it?
Take out the letter because I don't take notes and I have terrible memory, so I have no idea what it said.
The letter, I told you the mayor gave it to me, and I saw it was addressed to some Eric Gelner, and I figured, that's your last name, so that's why I gave it to you.
I take it out of my bag of holding, just kind of look it over. I'll read it out loud to the rest of the party.
Sure. It seems to be a simple missive. It just seems like Master Elmon was responding to a request made by Samantha. She was looking into the name of anyone by the surname Gelner around here. If there's any information they have, seems like he found one. Supposedly, there was an individual in Garen's Well named Eric Gelner who was doing some research, requested a tome from within Mosten. Apparently, actually, Master Elmon has sort of an addendum added on saying that he heard of this person. He's a pretty renowned physician for extending and ensuring longevity in even the weakest creatures. But when he requested his aid, considering his condition, didn't seem like Eric was too keen on helping him, let alone just doing anything outside of Garen's Well. But that's about all they know. Supposedly, there's a physician in Garen's Well by the name of Eric Gelner.
Wait, is that part of your family, Luna? Is that your father?
It's the man I killed.
Him?
But you killed your father.
Did I not explain this to you, Chloe? I probably did not explain this to you,
No,
Chloe.
you didn't.
There's a lot
I
of
could have
explaining
sworn
you
we brought you
probably
up to
haven't
speed.
done.
Wait, I didn't know it was your father.
But he has the same last name as you. Brother, then. Uncle?
Adopted.
Ah.
I thought we were looking for your parents, not the.
We are. The stone told me that they were here, but this was also where. This is where they left me. And so I was here alone for a while, and he took me in.
So your parents and your adopted father, both you? Hell.
The
No, no.
adopted father should be dead. The shocking part is that the Bloodstone said that her blood relatives, potentially parents, are in the same place. And that's why, as I make a grand gesture to the fact that she's transformed, she looks like this now, so that she won't be recognized in a place where she was trying to be away from.
I just didn't realize the fellow that was doing them things was a. Hell. Sorry.
How long ago did Armand get sick? How long ago was that incident?
It would have been about, I want to say 20, 30-ish years ago. It was after the whole deal happened in Oakwell, where it sounded like it was when Moss Den sort of intervened and tried to give information. So then the whole village got poisoned, and yeah, he's been in a weakened state since.
Eric was looking into how to extend one's life. If he was looking for help 20, 30 years ago, Eric could have been more than like 40 or 50. He looked really young for 40 or 50.
Was he
Was he-
human?
Was he an elf or something?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever asked. Pretty sure he was human.
If he
So,
kept his
the
ears
memory
covered,
is
it would
fuzzy.
be hard. If he kept his ears covered, it would be hard to tell. Did he keep his ears covered in the dream?
Had that long ass hair.
Yeah,
Certainly did.
right. I watched it.
He did this the whole time he was talking.
Ah, yes.
No, as far as you could tell, he mostly seemed human. It's not just the ears you gotta look for; it's the bone structure. You know, elves.
I mean, you said he was looking into ways to extend his life, and there are ways to do that. Most of them, at least the easy ones, are pretty dark. And you said he was experimenting on you. Perhaps he was using your magic for something, or I don't know.
Not even sure if he knew about my magic, but
I
guess it would make sense why I was alive
Well,
and the others weren't.
sounds like good riddance then. Don't experiment on children.
I mean, Father Winter told me about some folks, like locked themselves away in monasteries and things and trained themselves, and they barely ate. I doubt that's this though, right? That don't sound like that. Probably not a holy man.
No.
Not if he's hurting children.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So, but I mean, the fella's dead though, Ryan. I mean,
Yeah. So
we
like,
still just trying to find Luna's actual blood.
Yeah.
Right. That's all we're here for. As soon as we do that, we'll leave.
You don't know if you had any brothers or sisters or anything, Luna, because that stone just shows a blood relative, right? It may not be your parents.
But he wasn't my blood relative, that's the thing.
No, he adopted her. So
No,
they're
I'm
not
just
really
saying
related.
that
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you had any other relatives, because we may be looking for a cousin or something.
As far as I'm aware, with my lack of memory, I was the only child.
So, alright.
So it could be anything, but hopefully, whatever it is, are useful.
I know we need to get on the road here. It's getting late in the early morning, but how we doing this? Are we just gonna go in town, start asking around about? I mean, what's your parents' name?
I don't think she recalls. She just said she didn't have any memories as a child.
I think going in and asking questions is a bad idea. It would probably bring a lot of attention to us. And what questions will we even ask?
Yeah, I mean, do you remember at least what they look like or anything?
So here's the thing about amnesia. Yeah, you don't really remember anything.
That's true.
Mostly anything. It's the only thing I do know.
Oh no, I ain't got that. We handed that back a long time ago.
Yeah, this isn't really an Inquisition type of job.
Yes, but let me think.
I do have a clue. I do somewhat remember. I think they might have been adventurers like us.
Alright, so we try to find some folk that look like they might be able to handle themselves some while ago and see if they lost a kid some amount of years. This fucking Greg just starts to get red in the face.
The idea I had, if we still had that scroll, it would be a bit easier. I could probably make it work without it. Is that we're simply looking... I mean, you weren't taught your magic, right? You were born with it.
Right.
So
Maybe
as Javen just gets sucked away into a vortex, maybe your blood relative also has magic to them. Perhaps we could see if there are any spellcasters in Garenswell? I was thinking of perhaps coming on official Inquisition business, something adventuring offer, something Cradle Keep, who knows, I don't know, I'd think of some story. But regardless, if we could encounter those people, maybe they also, if they share your bloodline, have your powers, or whatever.
That's a good idea.
So we don't have official Inquisition rights anymore, though we could advertise for joining the group. Say we're looking for a new member or two.
I mean, wouldn't your parents be sort of...
They're probably really old right now. But...
Yeah, that was
I mean, all of this is really just speculation. We just don't really know what we're going to expect in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, until we get in there.
I work best when we get into the situation and find out from there.
Any idea is better than no idea.
It still sounds like we walking in there, we gonna start asking people about where some folk.
For capable adventurers and spellcasters and the like.
Or at least give it some time, kind of survey the town.
Yeah, I think we should, instead of just going right in and starting to ask questions, it's kind of really, really weird. Maybe we should just get a feel for what's actually happening in town first, and maybe the only thing I can think of is we might have to go back to where you grew up, like the actual area. People like to talk. We go there, maybe we pretend we don't know the physician. Say that we're looking for a medicine man. We heard that he would have been around that part of the town. Somebody's going to share the story of how he was murdered. They'll describe Luna, and maybe they'll give us more insight about what they thought she was before Eric took her in.
All right.
I mean, I guess. I didn't think we were going to talk about him at all.
We might not have to.
I mean, somebody... That was a... What? That was like... some years ago. And, I mean, somebody probably moved into his house by now, right? I mean...
Right, which is why... Gregory, just pretend you don't know anything about this place. If you heard there was a physician...
So easy enough.
Wait. Oh my gods. Pretend you never met Luna. If we heard there was a physician in Garenswell and we were told where we could find his establishment, we'd go there. Sure, somebody could be living there, and then we ask, we heard about a physician that was living here. What happened? Where is he? And then the people would tell us.
So we assuming the new physician moved into the old physician's house?
No, we're not assuming anything. We're just going to go to the place.
Seems like we're assuming that her stepdad is connected to who we're looking for, automatically. It seems like a bit of a... I mean...
Yeah, like there's a doctor in town, but that ain't the same doctor. That's a new doctor in town. He ain't got nothing to do with the guy that Luna killed.
Eric was connected to Luna. She doesn't remember anything, but there are people that have been living in that town. They would be older.
Right.
What if they knew where Luna was before Eric took her in?
Right.
What if maybe they knew her parents?
Right. Oh, we asked those people.
So we're still walking into town. We asking some people about the folks.
We're not asking immediately.
See
but
why?
Yes, we will be asking. Oh my God.
Do we want to do the medicine thing first?
Trying to figure out is what does Eric have to do with any of this? We know that there's someone she's blood related to in Garensville. That's who we're looking for, not this dead stepdad.
Okay, if you have any other ideas on how we're going to go into Garenswell and just pinpoint which side of the town we're going to go looking for
Can't be that big of a town.
I hop on my horse and start going. Just really slowly start going.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm riding too. Why do they talk so much, Luna?
I mean, we got to talk to the doctor anyways. I don't know. I doubt he'll know anything, because why would he? Seems like he probably got into town before or after all this happened. But we got to figure out about the shipments.
Oh, that doctor, wherever.
Maybe he's got some elderly clients that's got some magic in them that he knows about.
God,
maybe
dwarf thing was a thing also. Well, I mean, those seem possibly related, I guess.
I mean, we gotta see him anyway. That's all I'm saying.
I was focused on Luna. I wasn't even thinking about the bloody dwarves.
Well, Luna is halfway up the road right now, so
she's like
we should
12 paces in front of me.
Oh, come in!
But it sounds like we walk in and we don't try to find somebody that might know something and ask them questions about middle-aged elderly folk, maybe magic, used to be adventurers.
maybe just people with magic, because if it's not her parents, it has to be a blood relative. So if she does have siblings she doesn't know about, it could be them.
Alright. I mean, all siblings ain't all got magic.
I mean, not necessarily, but it is possible. It's...
I mean, I was given the gifts of, divine a bit, but my dad certainly fucked.
Yeah, that is evidence. He is a very interesting man. So I guess we go to the doctor first then, right? If that's what we want to do. If there's no connection from the doctor to Luna, then we'll just get some information on the dwarves, and then we can just look for a spellcaster or whatever the case may be. I'm sure... I doubt it will actually be too difficult.
I just want to make sure if we get being sneaky about it or not.
I don't see a reason to be.
There you go.
Yep, there we go.
Luna.
Yeah, besides literally not pointing out Luna, yeah, it's probably
Please don't do that. That's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Luna, what's your disguise name? As I hop on my horse and catch back up.
Oh no, we're already in town. We made it. Like you.
It's been days.
It's been days.
You traveled another 100 miles up ahead of it.
Okay. Luna thinks of a disguise name.
Oh, Samantha, what would you give me?
If I were to give you a name?
Helen.
Helen.
You say Helen?
No, I didn't say Helen. I think if you're trying to be relatively inconspicuous, I think you could pull off Jessica pretty well.
Why did that pop into my head? I hate it now.
What, you also thought Jessica?
I did. Now I'm disgusted. Why Jessica?
Boom,
I guess
there
it'll
it
be
is.
Jessica.
There it is.
I'll tell you why, Jessica.
There it is. Love you, Nick.
All right. With the disguise name in mind, you guys trot off towards this small town of Garenswell. And again, it's somewhat of a similar sight as you remember, Luna, when you ran away from here for this time, although now somewhat in reverse. The closer you guys get for the last day or so of travel, the skies start to get a bit cloudier, start to grow darker and swirl. The closer you get to this place, and soon what should be a decent, fall afternoon becomes a sort of dull and dreary, just a dark night. As you guys make your way towards Garenswell, you see the small wall standing in front of you is open plains with a few forested spots here or there. Sticking out from behind this large clock tower that looms over. One of the few things that Garenswell has that they pride themselves over is one of their only gnomish inventions, the Great Clock Tower. telling everyone around what time it is based on the gnomish clock. And let's sure. You guys make your way back to, at least for some of you, a familiar sight as you guys arrive basically evening around Garen's Well. But now that the sun is hiding behind the clouds, there's no red to the sky. It's just back to that dark and dreary looking evening. You see some guards standing on hand, but they seem pretty simple. They have light armor. They carry, it looks like a sword and a spear in the other hand. Looks like they're not so much on defense and more so on just see on the attack. They see you coming and they actually kind of stop you as they see people coming into this small town. They ask, "What business do you have here in Garen's Well?"
Hi, we're here to see your physician in town. There's a pressing medical concern down in Crossway. We're trying to see what the holdup is.
Oh, understandable. Yes. The doctor has been quite busy trying to prepare some medication for those who it sounds like they have some sort of metal poisoning. Sorry to say, he's quite tied up at the moment. Do you have any credentials to see him now? He prefers his solitude.
You know, I do definitely have the authority to see him now, but unfortunately, we ran into a bit of issue on the road. All of this rain, you see, it actually washed away my writ to take care of this. I know it's a really unfortunate coincidence, but it is still pressing. People are dying. If you could just point us in the direction of his office or estate or what have you.
Roll me a deception check. It's gonna be a little hard.
I have.
My dog ate it.
I haven't lied so long.
I mean, it would have worked better if Minnie was there.
We fed it to the horses deliberately.
The fucking dog.
I cannot on good authority simply grant you access, but I can lead you somewhere to stay until he can afford to see you, if that is okay. Like, if he has time today, certainly he might be able to give his response. I can assure you it will take some time, maybe the rest of the day or so, for him to come to some sort of agreement. But come along, as he turns and leads you along this cobblestone bridge throughout this dreary town. You guys walking through, following him. Seems like it's just a pretty small area, maybe only about a dozen or so buildings. It's definitely not the kind of town you're used to in Oakwell. This is a legit, like, maybe only less than 1,000 or so people living here sort of area. And as you walk through, you see the scenes are a little strange. The trees here look like they should be at least full of life, although it is fall. Maybe the leaves should be falling now. They seem somewhat twisted and gnarled. Around the corners, every so often, those of sharp eye can notice that maybe through some of the cobblestones, you can see like the shifting of shapes as beneath the bridge, you can see running along a dry waterway, like a ditch. You can see a number of small rodents scurrying, almost like rats of sorts. And around some of the trees and building tops where you would expect, maybe leaves or debris to be hanging out, there are some more movement. You see birds, dark feathers, long black beaks, beady, doll-like eyes, as it looks like crows have sort of taken roost along the tops of this place. It's definitely got something of a dreary appearance.
Swear to God, if we found another hag here.
Well, I'm sure it's not as it seems.
This is simply the way of Garen's Well. I think this place might be haunted, but it's home.
You got any houses that get up and walk around?
Not that I'm aware of. Just
good.
Doors and windows that open and shut by themselves sometimes, but...
Oh, wonderful.
Must be the wind, huh?
That's what they tell themselves.
Oh, that's what they tell everyone.
Tell me, soldier, how long have you been stationed here?
I've been stationed here since I turned 18. I've been living here all my life. Why?
Profession.
Oh, thank you, sir. What was it?
Quildor.
Oh, Quildor, thank you. Sorry, I was a bit distracted by the situation. What are all your names?
My name is Quildor, Shield of Zamaria.
Samantha Dias.
Gregory Timberson. Nice to meet you, sir.
Persephone.
Javen.
Jessica Diaz.
All right then. Good to meet you all. As eventually he starts leading you to this large building that Luna you're growing familiar with. This large.
What's your name?
My name is Dan. Dan Martin.
Oh, Jesus.
As Dan Martin leads you to the center of this small town, you see this large sort of block of a building with sort of these little pedestals. It looks strange. It's almost like a fortress of sorts, but you remember it, Luna. This is where it used to live. Although now the plants around it are look like they're starting to come back. You see where the garden had been burned away by black fire. There's now this new bed of roses, all this bright and vibrant red, sort of offshooting this dark and dreary color of this town. You can see the walls where, the fire sort of reached up to clatter along some of the wood amidst the stone. It looks like it's been washed away. It almost looks like this place has been either restored or made brand new. As the guard walks up to the door of this place and stops. It may take some time. He is usually busy in here. One moment. As he enters. And you guys sort of left to wait for a while, sort of looking around, sort of picking up on some new changes here, Luna. The town looks like it's gotten a bit bigger, maybe cleaned up a little bit, although it's still in somewhat of a nasty, dreary state. There aren't as many people walking around as usual. It seems like everyone's sort of sticking to their houses, but possibly because it might rain soon again. You can see remnants of puddles on the ground where it looks like just a couple days ago the rain had fallen once more. And maybe only after like 10 minutes or so, after your patience starts to wear out, the man steps out and smiles and goes, well, good news for all of you. And possibly by the coming of night, the physician will be happy to see you. Although I would advise possibly finding some places to stay for the evening. After all, Dr. Gelner is quite a busy man. As that is where we will end our session tonight.
Yay!
Oh my god. Don Martin.
I swear, you have like this inexorable quality to your DMing where, like, even if I can see something from a mile away, it's still fucking great! It's fucking great! God damn! Ah! Fucking loved it.
Yeah,
I hope you all fucking
hear
loved
that, Brendan?
Yikes.
What?
God, take notes.
Are you writing this down, Brendan? You need to be ready in 18 months, man. We're not expecting that fucking collegiate shit. We want professional shit in 18 months. When you come back, when you get drafted.
When you give us Expanse 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Do my next game, but it's gonna be nothing but music.
It's literally just you DJing for 4 hours.
Yeah.
We just have to watch. Oh,
yes,
boy.
Thank you, everyone, for sticking around. We had quite a few viewers tonight, but things stretched on a little longer than expected, just simply because, well, we like to roleplay and we like to have our conversations, but still good shit, y'all.
Whew-wee. All right, yeah, that is it for Song of Rapture. I almost feel bad for Nick. Good luck, bud. And we will be back with more Song of Rapture next week, next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We get to see how this is all going to shake out. I have no fucking idea, and I'm looking forward to it. But there's always more D&D, online and gaming. So right before that, little 2 days before that, on Tuesday, you get to come on back to the Apex Alliance and their wonderful adventures in Kingdoms of the South, as we have to figure out what's going on. Is the Highmoors going to war? Be sure to check out the VOD to get some more context information and figure out everything that's going on there. But you can come on back this Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and I'm sure the wonderful recap that one of us will be giving will put you in the loop anyway, so you can just go ahead and watch it and see what it is that we get on up to with that, and see what the situation is in the Kingdoms of the South. As, yeah, I think there's a war on. So, other than that, I want to give you all a big big thank you, and thank you so much for watching and for being here and supporting us. And thank you for following Fenderbender and Big Jim Slade 428. Thank you all so much for following. Thank you for following me on Twitter as well. You can also check that out in the chat right there, and you'll get some you can questions, and we can talk about the streams and all that good stuff. Boom! There you go. Oh, awesome! It didn't post. Well, that's just great. I feel wonderful.
Zazubot, you traitor.
Zazubot has betrayed me. Why? Why? Scott!
Me too.
Now I gotta rename the bot
called
bot instead of Zazubot because obviously
Scarbot.
it's betrayed me. So yeah, be sure to follow me on Twitter. You can get updates, any changes to the schedule and things like that often get posted there, along with our going live tweets, all that good stuff, along with just D&D and tabletop RPG nonsense. So yeah, that's all I've got for you tonight, and I hope to see you again in the future. And as always, may your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Later, y'all.
Toodle.
Bye!
Cheering as you all make it up and they see Bellic dead. Or did you leave Bellic on the ground? Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Bellic's corpse is down there. But
I
they
hold
see.
his wand up triumphantly, going, "We took this from a dead wizard."
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And they go, "Yeah, dead wizard!" And like they start doing the Ewok jub dance, and everything's quite happy and amazing there.
How is the bugbear? All right, I'm gonna look at them and be like, "Hey, so this is gonna come out either way, but we need you to know we killed the wizard. They were evil. There was an evil tree. The tree's dead too. So, Miss Bugbear, hopefully we can just go our own ways."
Ida kind of like slowly like nods a little bit. And she goes, "Well, ain't that a right pickle? You played a fast one on me. I noticed the moment that you left that was the weirdest lemonade I've ever tasted in my whole."
Okay. The Shire appreciates it. Lion, welcome, sir. Hello and welcome, Raiders. What's up, Slurpee? We are currently building a treehouse. How is D&D tonight? Did we need to go? Oh, I need to put it in the furnace, and the furnace is in our little block hut. Went awesome. Very good news. Yes, please make sure you guys go show Lionhead some support. They're a wonderful human being. I met them back when we were playing Destiny. Before I even started streaming. They're a lovely human being and deserve all your love. Okay, so multiple furnaces, I guess?